I want you to send me unopened cane sauce packets. That's all.
In what circumstance would we send you open cane sauce packets?
I don't know, but I want them packaged in such a way that they don't open or spoil on the way here.
Just in case.
There's
There's
probably
no canes in California.
As far as I know, there might be some in Southern California, but I haven't seen them in Northern California.
Here's
I
the
think
theory.
they're in Vegas though.
Here's the theory. Some businesses are going to go out of business, right?
Yeah.
Just put a canes there.
Put a canes. That's all you got to do. Is just
honestly,
problem
so,
solved. I just fixed the economy. You're welcome.
Like this office park shutters, and they're like, "That's a Cane's."
That's a Cane's. What about over here? I don't know another Cane's.
That's a Cane's. That's a Cane's.
What? You want to
Starbucks?
Starbucks?
We're shutting down another school in Akron, Asif. What should we do? That's a Cane's right there.
How about a Cane's?
Like a Cane's to me.
That's a Cane's with a double drive-through lane. Have you seen those?
Oh man, we have one of those at our local McDonald's.
A double drive-through McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty standard at McDonald's now, I think.
Yeah, they invented the drive-through. They're innovators. But
I
think a Cane's,
I mean the double
I think
lane.
a Cane's.
Yeah, Cane's needs that
from a double, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But then again, I haven't been outside my house really since the Death Stranding.
Since the Death Stranding universe exploded.
No, it's just the Death Stranding.
That's what's happening now. We're living the Death Stranding.
Like we just didn't appreciate logistics companies enough, and now here we are.
Stranding
toilet paper. I got an email. You get emails from everyone who's ever you've ever given your email to, ever in history.
Yeah.
If I were sending out a COVID-19 email from Shacknews, it would be to like 10 million people. And I'd have no interest in doing that, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, but it feels like every company is doing that. So I got this one. It's a restaurant. If you're a listener, right? If you're a listener out in Southern California, which you might be, right? There's not. Descanso, a modern taqueria. They got free toilet paper with takeout.
What?
Yeah,
that's pretty brilliant.
This is in Costa Mesa, Greg. So if you're out there in SoCal, I got you. There's at least one roll if you go there. Uh-oh.
I can't.
It's got a nasty.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, he's got COVID.
Oh my God.
Is he practicing social? He's not practicing social distancing. Get him.
Get him. He keeps going to the office. Look at him rebelling by going to the office.
I'm just here in the office by myself.
People who have not made the jump to our YouTube version of the podcast are going to be now confused when they listen to us. Because I'm talking about Blake's Zoom background, right? Because Zoom has chroma key built into it.
I can change it. I can make it all sorts of stuff.
You should make it just like a desert, like in the middle of the desert.
I want to be in it. Oh,
or like a backdrop from The Walking
Yeah.
Dead. A backdrop from The Walking Dead would be more appropriate. But
like a post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Like we're live in Oakland right now. Just everything, zombies rocking around in the background. Just everything.
Just get like a screenshot of Detroit.
It's pretty empty outside, honestly, here in Oakland. People are doing their part. San Francisco, by the way, the Bay Area, like we are keeping our curve low here. Like
congratulations. Good news. Good news. I'm sure no one can just wander into California. Good news is just California in this, and no one's gonna wander in from Florida.
Well, you know who's not doing that at all is Orange County. Orange County's numbers are just no one's doing the social distancing.
SoCal versus NorCal is very interesting right now.
Yeah,
when it comes to
tale as old as time. Yeah,
SoCal versus NorCal once
again.
Got
out of that shit show quickly.
Holy cow!
No, I don't know about this underwater Mario thing. It's a little boring.
I hate those levels.
Like, I don't want you to drown.
Can we be honest for a second?
Yeah, those levels suck.
The water levels in 8-bit Mario, specifically the first one.
Yeah. Because you couldn't jump out of the water. Mario 3s were more bearable, but Mario 1s, no.
Yeah, I wanted to make that distinction. Is that Mario 3 did have good water levels, but the original Mario water levels, trash.
They're still my least favorite type of level, though.
Like, have I ever done a water level, David?
No.
Now,
but that
Hero of Time
it was close enough.
Hero of Time level 2, I think, has water on it. But the whole point of it is not going in the water. There's like spikes and there's things that'll kill you.
Right.
Well, like someone put a comment on Josh's video review, and he said that like the platforming in Doom, this platforming in Doom is like underwater levels in Sonic and Mario. I hate it. That's what he's.
Oh man, talk about divisive. It's like Doom Eternal is still great, but the
combat is great. Everything else is kind of up in the air for a lot of people, I would say.
The
combat is divisive. Yeah.
There we go. That's more.
Hey, fuck yeah!
There you go. Live overlooking Shinra headquarters.
We're live from Midgar reporting on the COD-19 virus. Nobody's social distancing. Everyone's still out.
Seriously.
Doesn't matter. Look, it doesn't matter what level you are. You need to stop grinding right now and just shelter in place at your save point.
The virus is immune to Cura materia, so do not try to go outside.
Okay, so I've never played Final Fantasy VII. Do they have tents? Do you have tents in FF7?
Yeah, you do. It has all those landmarks that all the Final
Fantasy classic Final Fantasy
games. So you have tents, checkpoints, all that stuff.
Yeah, I'll get into it later. But back to what we were talking about a second ago, Doom Eternal. I actually hit up David over the weekend and kind of talked about how I'd hit my wall in Doom Eternal already.
I hit that wall.
I feel like, and it seems like a lot of people are hitting that wall at the same spot.
I'm about to play Animal Crossing instead.
Yeah, which is shocking. It is shocking as like, you know, because you were pretty upset, Asif, that you didn't get to review Doom Eternal
last
for
year.
A while. Well, yeah.
I would say that like I passed up a review on, say, Death Stranding so that I could play Doom, right? And I was like, man. And then Doom, it came out. Right? It was supposed to come out the day of Shack Smash. And also the same day as Animal Crossing, which is what I was assigned to originally. But the COVID-19 virus has decided to just ruin everything.
Yeah, but it's not the COVID-19's fault that Doom Eternal.
I don't know. You could blame COVID-19 for this. I would allow it.
No.
I think what it is there's like the levels get tedious.
Okay.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially for a completionist. If you're a completionist, levels take way too long to find every little thing.
It's funny because I think the complaint in 2016 was that it was too minimal and the arenas were too small. And now they've made these massive environments and people are like, it's too big. There's too much stuff to do.
Well, it's because the stuff that is nobody wants to do a bunch of platforming. Like, there's cool concepts. Like, I like some of the interactive mechanisms and like some of the crazy stuff you can do in combat. Like when you go into the cult temple and you can shoot.
Oh my god, the COVID, it's got him.
Man, it's not the COVID.
Yeah, you got a shoulder cough.
Yeah. Well, at any rate, when they go into the temple, and like you can shoot those triggers that cause all the axes to chop up the enemies and stuff like that. Like there's later levels where you get to like use some stuff to like crush enemies. Like some of the cool little ways that they've like thrown in for you to take out your bosses is cool, but then you get to this level, and it's like the first level you got a real boss on, right? and you barely scrape through that fight. You know,
well, that's because the boss has it gets 3 life bars. So every time you think it's over, they're like, no, this is happening again. Which a lot of games do that at later boss battles, right? But this is the first boss. So it goes from fun for the first life bar because you figure it out to by the 3rd time you're like, again with this, you know. It just kind of got tedious for me.
But then it's like you feel this sense of relief that you finally beat the boss. And then they're like, no, now you have to fight 2 bosses and a bunch of monsters. Right away. Otherwise you don't beat the level. And
yeah, that's right.
And it just wasn't fun. I got to the point where I was yelling expletives and wanting to throw my controller, and I died at least 10 times trying to beat it.
I would be interested in you streaming this game because honestly, and this isn't me being a PC snob, but I have enough trouble in fights in Doom Eternal juggling between weapons and mods, the chainsaw, glory kills, flame belts, etc. with keyboard and mouse. I don't know how anyone playing with a controller gets through this game, unlike Hurt Me Plenty or higher.
I think
so. It goes through when you bring up the rotary.
It's well made for controllers. I think that they've mapped everything you're talking about. They have mapped to gamepad very well.
They have. They've also mapped it to keyboard and mouse very well. But now you have to juggle. And there's just so much to it. But
I think the bullet time nature of switching on the weapon wheel provides people this pause that they need.
No, that's the problem. Is the game needs to pause when you're on the weapon wheel.
It does.
The amount of time it takes you to switch between weapons in game.
Yeah.
With the bullet time, it just messes so much stuff up because you can't switch fast enough. You just absolutely cannot switch fast enough. That's the problem. Going back and forth between different weapons or having to switch to a 3rd weapon, you got to use that bullet time. And that is one of the things that made it extremely difficult to beat these 2 bosses at the same time was being able to utilize weapon wheel because it throws off your aim. It throws off your position, everything. You're moving while it's going bullet time, right? So you have to use the thumbstick that you're using to aim in order to switch your weapon, right? And that moves when you're moving the weapon wheel. The game just needs to stop, not have any movement involved, and let you select the weapon because
that's what BioShock did.
Yeah, it's the only way to do it and not have it add another layer of frustration and difficulty. You just have to be able to freeze the game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree.
It worked in 2016.
It worked in 2016 because you didn't have to switch as much. You didn't.
I think the problem is now it's meat hook, fire belch, glory kill. It's these different things, and they changed the key for the glory kill on keyboard and mouse, right? The default setting.
I reset it to 2016's, but
right.
They did change it,
but they their default settings. They even were you're gonna need this key for this now, and because of the meat hook, because of the flame belch, there's definitely 2 other things that you have to do, and also chainsaw I think is a bigger factor in this game than it was in 2016.
Yeah.
So it's it's that dance, right? They added 2 moves to the dance, and you're right. You definitely have to jump between it. But I think, I don't know. I still, that's not the part of the game that bothers me. I accept that weirdness that we're talking about, Blake, for what it is, because it was there in 2016. It just wasn't it wasn't as big of a problem, I guess.
Yeah, it's just fighting these bosses and not doing well with health and having to go from your plasma rifle to your rocket launcher.
It's a tough game.
To your shotgun, all while maintaining because there's not only those bosses you're dealing with all of the little, spawns around you, and each one of those has their own specific weakness, right? You got to get those cacodemons right away. So that means get out your shotgun, use your secondary like grenade launcher attack on it, make them eat the grenade, and then pull off the execution, and then go back to doing whatever you're doing over there with the plasma rifle and the rocket launcher and the boss. You know, it just
The most interesting section of the Doom Eternal long read Hellraiser for me to write was I titled one of the chapters "The Right Way," and it's a direct quote from Hugo Martin, and he actually said that in Doom 2016 we noticed people abusing the super shotgun first and foremost, and the rocket launcher after that. And so now he said we created a right way to play this game, where you have to switch between you not only switch between weapons and your special moves like the glory kill and the flame belch, but weapon mods too. And it just gets like, the reason the bullet time slowdown worked in Doom 2016 is because there wasn't the quote unquote right way. You did not have to switch as often. You could mow down enemies. Just, I mean, that's how you played classic Doom, right? Like some enemies, you know, you wanted to use tougher weapons on, sure, but if you wanted to stick to like mostly the shotgun and the rocket launcher, which most people did, you could. But the slowdown was fine because like once you knew like, okay, the shotgun is here on the wheel, the rocket launcher is here, I'm just going to go between those two. But in Eternal, you have to use everything. And it just gets to be, it's kind of a mess. Like it's fun when it flows, when you enter that flow state, but it's very chaotic and it is very divisive.
So David, Asif, what would you give the game out of 10?
What would I give it? Josh was going to give it a 9. I actually talked to him and convinced him like this is actually an 8 at best. I went between a 7 and an 8, but I decided on 8. Like I think it is a good game.
I haven't finished it yet. Been playing Animal Crossing. We should start the show.
I haven't finished it either. Well, let's do it after this conversation, so it's organic. The thing is, like,
I know Wickus Wickus is gonna be mad at us. He's gonna be like,
Wickus is gonna be mad at us no matter what. It's now or later. We'll do.
That's
now.
The name of this episode.
Yeah, it is. We can do that. But like, there's a storytelling trope. I can't think of what it is. Blake or Asif or any of us here might know this, but you know how like when you pace in an action movie, if the character is going from like danger to danger to danger, the audience kind of becomes desensitized because they're never not in danger, right?
Right. Yeah. You need time to breathe.
There's really time to breathe, but there's a term for it. But the point is like Doom Eternal is kind of that. Like I feel like 2016 gave me more time to breathe and appreciate the environments. In Doom Eternal, like Doom Eternal is an even more stunning game than 2016. But like, I feel like combat is happening all the time that I just kind of like eke out a little bit of exploration when I can. And that's part of what I mean. Like Blake described the combat as getting tedious. And I think I like it more than Doom 2016 overall. But there comes a point in every level where I just like have to walk away for a little bit because I'm actually tired of all of the craziness everywhere. Like you can only do that so much. Like the first level could be like the last level of Doom 2016. It's just nonstop.
It does feel like it throws you right back into the fire. It's not. Yeah. There's no chill in this game. There is just
hellfire.
It's just like it's like hell on earth. We're gonna. I do think that the things they did with the weapon mods and the weak points and the different enemies, I think it's cool conceptually, but like you guys are pointing out, it definitely creates a gameplay mechanic issue. And it's but I just think the game is hard as shit. Like I just think the game's hard. I think it's like a difficult game. I think they're like Doom 2016, here's Doom 20, this is hard mode. You know? And I think that's I appreciate it for that. I don't think it's necessarily a bad game for that reason. It's other things that I don't really like about it, but I'm going to beat it. The other thing is I have that beautiful monitor at the office, right? And I had the Beast PC 1 plugged into it, and I was playing it over there at night. And it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
4K.
It is so beautiful.
60 FPS. HDR. I may have to go liberate that monitor soon.
Thanks. It's not an essential purchase. You're not allowed. You can't. It's not essential.
Oh, it's essential for me to have that monitor, Greg.
If it's just you, and you're not touching anyone else or seeing anyone else, you could probably go in the middle of the day and get it.
My SN30 Pro 8-bit DOE controller is over there. I need to get that eventually, but I haven't gone near the office since you closed it.
Oh man, yeah. There's my Sega CD is probably
Right there.
still there. Oh, it's right there.
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to send it to you with a COVID-riddled box?
Yeah, if you could just cough in a box and send me a bunch of stuff, that would be great.
Okay.
Open me up. Just an empty jar. What the hell?
I'm like, I have it. It's right there. I can't do it. I'm like, I haven't been like, we have a UPS like whatever, like a post, like a PO box, and I haven't been there to get our mail in a couple weeks.
Oh wow!
So I don't want to go in there.
You're afraid.
That place is probably riddled with the COVID-19.
Yeah,
Probably is.
Probably, honestly, yeah.
like I'm sorry. I'll be honest with you. Whatever the mail is at the office, I think I can wait like until
I can wait.
Ohio's healthcare infrastructure crumbles in on itself.
I mean,
next week.
Give it a few more. Yeah, a few more days.
Like next week, when everyone. Yeah, no. I don't know. I have an alarming amount of chicken in my freezer.
Nugs or chicken
and bread, right? Those are your staples.
Yeah, like I'm just living off of. It's me, my George Foreman grill, and it's just chicken sandwiches for life. So they're chicken patties, Greg, from Tyson. And as a result of me living off of chicken patties from Tyson, I'm thinking about investing in Tyson. Since they are my leading source of sustenance right now.
Yep. Can't get your nugs. Although Swenson's doing a lot of really good community outreach.
Swenson's is killing it. And it's, I don't know, have you been there, David, or just driven past it? It's packed.
No.
And when I mean packed, folks, it's socially distanced packed. There's cars that you're in.
It's a drive-up.
It's a
restaurant.
drive-in.
Like you don't leave your car.
Yeah, which is perfect for right now. I haven't been there in like over 2 weeks, but the last time I went there, I talked to someone there, and he said a lot of elderly people were going there during the day.
That makes sense.
Good.
And they'd get like they'd order like 20 burgers or something, and then they would, be on their way. Like
that's what I'm going to do tonight.
Right?
Just stock up on Swenson.
Like,
that's right.
I honestly, if I was still eating hamburgers, David, I would have pulled that like 3 weeks ago. I would have just ordered like 40 burgers and threw them in the freezer.
Give me 60 galley boys.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, we're going to make it through this.
Come on, Asif. I bet they gotta like ship out of state. I'm
telling you, man, they don't even use any of those, what do you call them? Like, Grubhub or DoorDash. They don't use any of them.
Oh, that's
integrity.
True. Yeah,
because integrity.
I don't know if it's integrity or what, but they are not using it.
Good for them.
It doesn't sound like they need it right now.
No, they don't, because they're driving.
Here's the thing, though. I actually I only have had to leave the apartment like every 2 to 3 days, and just to pick up essentials, like if one of us has a prescription come in.
Mm-hmm.
But like
you can get that delivered from some pharmacies now, David.
Yeah, that's true. I'll have to look into that. But like sometimes I will just go for a drive because I need to get out of the apartment for a bit. Mm-hmm. And I feel like drive-in restaurants is like kind of a perfect middle ground. Like I don't have to get out. I can still get out of the apartment for a bit and then take food back. And then like I'll have maintain some of my sanity by getting out of this apartment, which I'm in all the time anyway. But now that I feel like I can't leave, I have to leave.
It's like people who normally work from home, when told that we can't leave, are like, wait, what?
We're like, what?
Like, it was cool, like being able to go places and do things with you guys.
Yeah,
that was fun. We had a good run, Greg.
Yeah, we did. I've adjusted fine. I mean, I'm good. I don't leave the house anyway, so I'm used to it.
But you honestly went to like one of the last events. You went to Toy Fair.
Toy Fair at ground zero practically. New York's so bad right now.
You were in a convention center, Greg, that is now a hospital.
Yeah.
Didn't you get really shitty sick after that too?
No, that was Steve.
That was Yeah, that was Steve. Steve got sick. I was very careful with I was crazy with the hand sanitizer. I usually am when I go to those events.
Greg and I have been historically very good about that.
But CES.
We still get sick sometimes.
Always. CES. Always CES.
I got deathly ill after CES this year. So it's not, and we were super cautious. I think it was that duck hunt thing.
It was something, man. I mean, remember when you're indoors,
everyone was wearing that. It was this thing that you had to wear on your head so it touched your forehead.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No.
So what I'm reading,
against my better judgment, I was like, mind control duck hunt. I have to try this.
I get the appeal, but man, like at a convention center,
the things that I do for Shacknews.
I know.
Right? Strapping that thing to my head. It was good though. I have to say, mind control duck hunt. 8 out of 10.
That'll be your epitaph. It was good.
It was good.
Yeah.
8 out of 10, Shacknews.
8 out of 10, Shacknews.
Okay. So that seems like a good place to start the show, right?
No.
Maybe. You got a song for us?
Oh, it's the Shackcast coming at you fast and furious. Video games of which you are curious. We'll explore them in the great precarious social situation that we're all going through. Yo, I'm here with the Shackcast crew. Asif Khan, his shirt is blue. Gregory Burke, he'll yell till it hurts. And David Craddock, yo, he'll hit you with a padlock. Oh, yeah, we don't fuck around when the Shackcast is here and it's in your town. Look out, because we're coughing in boxes. We're eating all your bagels with your cream cheese and loxes.
Welcome to the Shackcast, the official Shacknews podcast of Shacknews. I'm your host, Asif Khan. I'm CEO, editor-in-chief, and chief puppy wrangler, because Lola's right here. She's so cute.
They don't know.
Lola.
Hola, bear.
Lola, chair pet of the board, making the long trek across my house from her room to my home office to sit on my lap most of the day, every day. It's been great.
Yeah. Do you know why she wants to go to the office, by the way? This guy.
Yeah, probably.
Because she looks for me now. Didn't you say when you get to the office, she goes and looks for me?
She looks.
And I'm not there.
Yeah, because David frequently, like, when he gets to the office before me, he hangs out in the co-op room, which has a very comfy couch and the TV and whatever. So she will go, once she's out of her carrier in her office, right, she beelines to the co-op room. That is true. But then she just wants to run around the office with me. She enjoys that.
Right,
like,
but we're talking about what she does first. Right, Blake? You hear that? It's about me. It's got me on the brain.
So the battle for who's Lola's BFF continues between David Craddock, our long reads editor, beaming in against all odds
from 8
on
minutes
on the poorest internet connection possible.
It's so bad.
How do you game with like this terrible internet?
I never play multiplayer games anyway. If I want to do that, I usually go to the office, except right now I can't.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I pay for the good internet in Massa Cable, which is 100 megs down, 8-9 megs up on a good day. So that's good enough to play multiplayer games, Greg. It's not good enough to stream and play multiplayer games. That's impossible here. But yeah, David makes a good point. Like, I play a lot of single player games at home anyway. But I do, like, I'm gonna play in the Shack Battle tonight. Like, I'll play.
Is that Rocket League tonight?
No, it's more Bad Company too.
Oh snap!
The community, man.
Where can I get that?
Origin.
Okay. I don't know about joining because I feel like I'll just bring the latency down. But I've always wanted to play that game, and that game's multiplayer, so I might get that.
It's good. I think it's like $30. I can reimburse you guys if you buy it, because this is like Shack Battle stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool. Yeah, like my whole plan was I wanted to partake, but there's really, like, it's not that I don't want to play with the community, but there's really no point in partaking at this from my house. But like, if under normal circumstances, I would be more than happy to go into the office and play on that connection.
Yeah, same. I've been playing on mine at home, and it's okay. But I suck at the game. That's a separate issue. It's fun though.
I was okay at Bad Company 2 back in the day. I got pretty good as like they have
classes, yeah.
I got pretty good at being an engineer in that game.
Mm-hmm. I just see like
that was like years ago.
Isn't that held up as like one of the best Battlefields? Like that's the fan favorite, right?
Yeah.
Bad Company
It seemed like it's the Shacknews favorite right now.
I think so.
Because of the private server functionality.
Yeah, it was that. Before that, it was Battlefield 1942, but then I think chatting moved on to Bad Company 2.
Yeah, 1942 Shack battles were very popular back in the day. When that game was a thing, there was weekly 1942 battles. That game is hilarious.
I can just picture David going like, all right, David, give us backup, David. And his character's like running into a wall in place. David! Oh, God, we lost David. And the whole squad wipes.
Yeah.
He's going to Jim Halpert it.
Yeah, basically.
What? Are you using a sniper? I'm using a sniper rifle. You're using a sniper rifle?
Well, back in the day, right? Way back in the internet days on dial-up, right? There were two classes of people on Sugar Shack or on Quakeholio. There was the high ping and low ping divisions, right? And Fatality used to run the high ping division of Shacknews competitions, or whatever you want to call them. I guess Quakeholio competitions. Because he was playing on a really crappy phone connection in Kansas.
56K.
And he still ended up being the greatest player in the world.
Wow.
So there's a story of inspiration in crappy internet.
Yes, there is. That's impressive.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so like I think it's lag has always been there. You know what I mean? It's always been there.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't encounter a whole lot that I play Rocket League with Blake pretty frequently. That's probably my most played online game.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah,
I don't lag out a whole lot.
No, honestly, I'm usually the one getting like weird connections and like low pings and stuff, and it's weird because I have super good internet. But I think it's because I'm playing like on the West Coast and you're on the East Coast.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember back in the day when I was playing like Halo 2 with friends online, and like we were all over the country, and like certain people couldn't join certain parties because just the internet was being dumb.
It also depends on the netcode and server location. Like, for example, when I play Sea of Thieves with Sam, I'm amazed the connection seems just as good as if I played locally.
Yeah.
Because the netcode is phenomenal in that game. And we must be meeting at a server somewhere between Australia and US because there's like no delay, there's no issues, there's no problems.
Microsoft,
should be.
Man.
Right, but like you
remember how they did so many scale tests for that game before it launched?
Yeah.
There was like 6 weeks of scale testing for that game because they were really worried about that. If they broke that part of the experience, it would suck. That game would be crap.
But then like you go to a game like Injustice 2, friends on the East Coast, it's unplayable. Like you can't. It's like a 3-second delay. So it's just
Smash. It's like why Greg and I never play Smash.
Nintendo can't internet. That's Nintendo's fault.
Well, Cart exists.
Nintendo's netcode, it's never been very good. Nintendo's multiplayer netcode just kind of sucks.
Explain Cart and explain Splatoon to me.
I've never had a good online experience with any cart that has been online compatible, all the way back to Mario Kart DS up until
this
Mario
current
Kart 8
Switch
Deluxe
version.
Now.
This current Switch version is by far the most stable Mario Kart I've ever played online.
That is true.
I guess for me, the bar is pretty low for that.
No, for sure. I agree. But to me, the Wii U version was good. This is actually better. Like, I didn't have... Like, Greg and I used to play online on Wii U.
We did.
And it wasn't... We didn't have connectivity issues.
No. It's also a simpler game, though. All you're doing is just pressing A and going forward. You know, there's not, like, a million executable commands that need to be, like, translated.
Sure. But, like... Explain Splatoon. Like, Splatoon is legitimately good online. Like
it's going to be an
I
esport.
can't speak to that. Yeah, I can't speak to that. I've never really played it.
It actually works. I'm just saying, like, I'm not giving them any rewards for online play.
I believe you.
I'm just saying, like, there are 2 teams at Nintendo who have made online games in the last 3 years that weren't complete poop. And then there's 2 teams who made 2 games where the multiplayer is just absolute trash. And it's Mario Maker 2 and it's Smash Ultimate. And it's sad. Because, like,
yeah, that is sad.
Because Mario Maker 2 with good multiplayer would be, that's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, you know what trend, I guess this happened in the last, like, 10 years, but what really bums me out is, you know, I still have a yearly LAN party with my closest friends, but a lot of games now, they've either removed the LAN option or they have what's called LAN over internet, which to me is, like, oxymoronic. Like, how can it be a LAN over the internet? Like StarCraft, classic StarCraft used to have a LAN mode. Now you can do LAN over BattleNet. I'm like, but that's not LAN. Like, you're still introducing internet latency into that.
Yes.
It just kind of bums me out because, like, LAN, I think that also, like, that spoiled me. Like, even when I dial up, we would never try. Like, a couple of my friends and I, we tried, like, Doom 2 over modems. That was terrible. Same with, we all upgraded to 56K modems and tried Command and Conquer, like, still unplayable.
I used to play
LAN's, like,
CNC
spoiled
on
me
modem.
to multiplayer.
I used to play CNC on modem. It was horrible. And then, but by the time I went to, like, when I was in high school, we had a T1 connection, and we were literally pulling Ethernet cable in our dorms, setting it up. So, like, yeah, I hear you. Once the LAN became a thing, that was the place to play multiplayer. You just played single player when you're at home with your tower.
Yeah, it was like the evolution of arcade, right? Like LAN, from arcades to LAN was, like, my favorite type of social gaming experiences, I would say.
Yeah,
because we played LAN at our high school. We went from Apple IIs to, like, Pentium 2s, and we're playing, like, I mean, discs were flying fast and furious. We had, like, Half-Life, Unreal, Quake 3, and, like, a bank of, like, 16 computers, everyone on LAN. Those were good times.
Yeah, I remember playing Rise of the Triad at the LAN at school.
The first place I ever played Half-Life was a LAN party.
Oh, that's good times.
Yeah.
I like Half-Life.
It was cool.
Me too.
Have you heard the good word of Half-Life Alex?
Just from you. Mostly, you're the only person I really know that's played it.
You probably know some other people. There's dozens of us.
Dozens.
There's dozens of us, and we love Half-Life Alex, and we will later this year fight to the death over how this game is better than most other games. Although I'm playing Animal Crossing right now, and I'm loving it.
My game of the year right now is not Resident Evil 3.
Damn.
It's Animal Crossing. Like,
wow.
I'm pretty deep into that game now, man. I bought Amy a copy last night because she was watching me play. I'm like, here, let's play together. We're sitting there side by side on our 2 Switches, 2 TVs. Like, she played. I went to bed at 10 or 11. I woke up at 5:30. She played till like 9 or 10 in the morning, and then she went to bed. I'm like, so you like it then? Like, we're both super into it.
It's because you can live a life where you're in quarantine. You can live a life outside of that life in Animal Crossing.
It's a lovely island life. It's island life, and you can have a farm, and you can fish. I can just fish all day. I love fishing.
Sandals, Jamaica.
I love fishing in Sea of Thieves, and I love fishing in Animal Crossing, and I love fishing in Ocarina of Time. Like, I
would boot that game up just to fish.
Those 3 games, like, I just love fishing. Like, you can just if you just let me fish in them, I'm fine. So no, like, I'm fishing a lot in Animal Crossing, and now I'm getting stupid eggs every time. Lots of stupid water eggs. And there's a dumb bunny in town right now. So like, that's happening.
I thought when I talked to him, I thought he said, like, oh, save your eggs and I'll give you something. Should I be saving eggs because Amy's crafting like hats and like egg hats, egg shoes. I'm like sitting on all these eggs.
I imagine that, yes, you could probably give him some eggs, and also you could probably make stuff out of them, because basically everything I do causes an egg to happen now. So I fish a lot. I fish a lot, so every other thing is an egg, and then or like they have those X's in the ground where there's usually fossils. So you dig a hole in the ground, and then look, it's another freaking egg.
Yeah, that's
eggs.
Happening to me too.
It's like, oops, all eggs happen to Animal Crossing.
I am 2 contributions away from Blathers the Owl opening that museum. I want a museum.
Did you see this? Someone like locked up the, what do you call it? The bunny?
Someone locked him up? Like built a fence around him or something?
Yeah, they built a fence around him.
Tiggy Bee Bunny or something like that. I forget his name is.
Hold on.
That's funny.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
You see that?
That's great. That reminds me of The Sims, where you could like build a room around your Sims but not put in a door, and so they like pee all over themselves and die of starvation. It got pretty dark. Or you could like put them in the pool but then take the ladder out, and then like these stupid Sims couldn't just climb out of the pool, so they would drown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can do a lot of sadistic, messed up stuff to The Sims.
It's kind of the same in Animal Crossing, but it's not as mean, like, because the systems aren't designed for them to suffer as much. They're more just like, hey, I'm in this thing now.
Yeah, they're fine. They're fine with it.
They're just and like you said, they're super supportive of you and everything you decide to do.
I love that.
Every time you get promoted to do something, they're like, yeah, I'm super excited that you're the person doing this. And you're like, okay, thanks for your support. So who are your animals on the island?
I have a rhinoceros.
Okay.
And I think she's a purple dinosaur. She almost looks like a female Barney.
Barney? Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
that's a pretty solid pull, man. Was that your first try? You just got those?
Yeah, that was my first try. Yeah.
So I have a bunny and a dog. That's pretty great.
Okay. I have to look at Amy's. Amy hates her neighbors. She's very antisocial.
She could start over if she wants. Or does she hate all neighbors?
She's just all of them. She does not want to like interact with them at all. But one thing we want to do tonight is neither of us have tried multiplayer yet. I haven't gone to anyone's island, that stuff. So I want to try that.
Let me know. I'll hang out with you guys.
Okay, I will let you know.
At some point.
It's super fun. It's really fun.
It's a really it's very good timing for that game to come out.
Yeah, like I noticed that, because as we said earlier, like Animal Crossing and Doom came out on the same day, and so a lot of people kind of vacillated between those. I'm going from doing I've started to record challenge runs in RE3, like I'm doing a knife only run and a no item box run. And when that gets a little too intense, I just pick up Animal Crossing and kind of like chill for an hour or so, and then go back to Resident Evil. And it's just kind of, it's like Animal Crossing is the perfect counterbalance to like any other like quote unquote video game that you could want to play. It's great.
Yep. It's usually like my morning or evening game. Like I'll play it right before I go to bed or right when I wake up kind of game, which was when I was really into it. That was Tetris 99 for me last year.
Oh yeah.
Like I was super into that game where I was playing it every morning and I was playing every evening. I was falling asleep with that game in my hand at night.
Yeah.
That's love.
I love Tetris 99, but I had to put it down. After I've won, I think I've won 3 Tetris Maximuses or 4. I'm like, I'm good. I've never won when Japan was awake. That's like a different level of difficult.
Yeah, that is.
But yeah, Animal Crossing is a very different vibe, obviously. But they fill that same role in my gaming life right now, is what I'm saying. It's like that.
Yeah.
That pick up and play thing that you can play for like 5 minutes at a time. It's perfect for Switch. It's perfect for handheld. I saw you're playing it on TV, right?
So for the first time, I've been like when I'm in my office, I was waiting for something to download on Steam, and I just picked up my Switch at my desk and played for a little bit. And I normally do like 99% of the time I play docked.
So it's the first time that you were really interested in playing in a game in handheld.
Yeah, I cannot remember the last time I played the Switch in handheld mode before Animal Crossing.
I'm like super into playing in handheld. I rarely dock.
It's perfect for it. It's perfect for it.
The only game I've ever played docked was Breath of the Wild. Everything else is handheld.
I played Mario Odyssey docked quite a bit because it's beautiful, and I wanted to play with the Pro Controller.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, Breath of the Wild 2 for similar reasons. But I played a ton. I play a ton of Breath of the Wild in handheld, and I played a lot of it in handheld. I beat the game in handheld while I was flying back from Japan the year it came out. So it was 2017.
Oh, yeah.
Flying back from TGS 2017 on that flight. I freed the 4th Divine Beast, and then I went to Hyrule Castle, and I saved the day. Until the next game, when stuff happens again.
Yes.
Can't wait.
That might be a good transition into this rumor of like what, a dozen or so, maybe half a dozen Mario games remastered and coming to Switch by the end of the year.
Sure,
that'd be great.
I am super into that. That would be like it for me for the year.
They're gonna stagger the release though, right? They're gonna do the N64 next and the GameCube. Like that's where they're doing the service, right? That's the way it seems like they're doing the service.
This isn't part of Nintendo Switch Online. These are going to be like standalone games you can buy from.
What's your source? What's your source, David?
Eurogamer and whoever they're talking
to.
Because they're the ones who broke the news on it.
No, there's this cam girl who allegedly has a connection at Nintendo, and she's been leaking stuff. Have you guys not been paying attention to this?
I've not seen that, no.
Leak some stuff before.
I would say that in the last few months, her credibility has been increased by some of the stories that have come out, like some things that have happened. So people think that she's like the Rod Breslau of Nintendo news. You know, like Slasher just breaks embargoes left and right. Like he just finds out stuff. Someone agrees to an embargo, and then they tell Rod something, and then Rod breaks the embargo. You know. Apparently she has a client or a supporter on Patreon or something, whatever you want to call it, OnlyFans subscriber that works at Nintendo and tells her stuff that he probably or she should probably hear.
Wow.
So I'm not saying it's completely unbelievable
for sexy pics or for
like
it makes
there's
sense.
Like cam sessions, like private one-on-one cam sessions
for
like,
sexy times.
Yeah, you know.
This is the 35th anniversary of Mario. They need to do something, so this makes sense.
So I'm not sure how they're gonna do it, Greg. Like, here's my theory. They looked at the sales of Mario Odyssey and New Super Mario Brothers U and Deluxe and what the hell do you call it? Mario Kart 8. And they're like, people want to buy Mario games on Switch. What if we just sell all of them for $60? So I feel like it's going to be Mario 64 is going to be remastered, and it'll cost $60. And I think it's going to be Mario Sunshine, and it's going to cost $60. It's going to be remastered. And then they're going to do Galaxy 1 and 2, maybe bundled together for $60. Because they already made a gajillion dollars off of the Galaxy titles, right? So I feel like they could bundle those two together, but they're gonna tax, man. This is like the Mario tax has come to town.
You know what they'll do? Like there are two other things. The rumor is that Super Mario 3D World is finally coming over from Wii U, and it's getting the deluxe treatment. They're gonna add like new worlds and levels and stuff.
Oh, that's easy.
But
out of all the games,
that's easy. And that's my favorite 3D Mario, so I am super stoked for that. Like, if it's some magical fantasy world, they were all to come out on the same day, like, that would be my first buy. But I've also been thinking, I bet they'll do what they did with Super Mario Maker 2, where they introduced like one of those vouchers, where like you bought $100 voucher. I don't know how that worked, but like you got a discount on other first party games.
Yeah, you
bought the thing.
Yeah, you basically got
Yeah.
$20 off of one game or something.
Yeah. I bet they'll do something like that.
Like I feel like we've had this conversation before about like, why don't you make Mario 64? Nintendo, do you not like money? Because I think they have like a plan of attack, and that's to do it in segments for the online service slowly.
I think they value anniversaries, and they also have a movie coming out next year for Mario. So
why did we need another movie when the first one was perfect?
Because
is it a sequel? Are we finally going to find out? Because Peach shows up with, like, laser guns at the end of the first one. Yeah.
I don't know.
Daisy. It's Daisy, Blake.
I think
Was it Daisy? I'm sorry.
Pretty sure it's money is the reason that they're doing the movie, because Sonic made $1 gajillion.
I want it to be just a remake of the first one so badly.
Who was right about being optimistic about Sonic this whole time?
Me. Blake. I was.
F-Zero Twitter. That was the answer.
Oh.
The answer was F-Zero Twitter.
I was optimistic about the Sonic movie.
Sorry, play again.
Sorry, Blake. The answer was F-Zero Twitter.
It wasn't Blake. Oh, bump, dump, womp. Can we talk about the Sonic movie? Did we talk about it on the podcast?
I haven't seen it yet.
It's great. You should watch it.
I want to see it. I'm just happy it succeeded. Because that means more video game movies.
I am...
Yeah.
I just want that opening scene from Super Mario Brothers, where it's like, "Hey, remember the dinosaurs? That video came along. Well,
no more dinosaurs.
What if they didn't die and they evolved underground in a secret dimension?"
Somebody was smoking when they made that script.
What was it? Dustin Hoffman?
Koopa? Yeah. Dustin Hoffman was King Koopa.
Tom Waits was Toad.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Big Bertha.
Big Bertha.
Big Bertha is the giant black woman. Yeah.
Remember her?
I
remember the giant black woman from all the Super Mario games.
Was she corpulent? Very corpulent? Like the cousins were funny.
Oh man. Okay. That's why we're getting another one, Blake, is that people want more of that quality of storytelling and world building.
That's it.
And Yoshi was there.
Yoshi was there.
Great. And like there was just a fungus everywhere. And who was that? It was old King Toadstool. In fungus form, because he'd been devoed.
Anyway,
I remember so much
Mario
about that
Sunshine
piece of shit movie.
I fucking love that.
Mario Sunshine.
Mario Sunshine. I'm very excited if this really happens.
Yes.
Come on. Like, kind of speaking to New Horizons, right? In my opinion, Il Delfino would be lovely to escape to right now during a global pandemic. Who wouldn't want to go there and have a water-powered jetpack? Because, I'm biased towards games with jetpacks. Giving Mario a jetpack was kind of amazing. It's kind of better than Cappy, in my opinion. Kind of better than the Bell in 3D World.
You can't help but feel relaxed.
The Bell in 3D World is kind of OP. It might be the most OP power-up in the history of Mario. And
it was designed that way. It was designed that way. The Bell was for like little kids who are like, "How do I jump in 3D?" Which everyone kind of says that.
I have to make a cat level for Asif.
Bell.
Remind me.
I used the cat power-up before you did.
Should make a cat power.
I have a cat power-up in my level already.
A level that's a tribute to the band Cat Power.
Cat Power? I've thought about going back to Mario Maker.
That was a great time. I bought Super Mario Maker 2. I thought I was going to keep getting an influx of Asif levels.
You haven't even beaten the current ones.
I beat some of them.
Mm-hmm.
Remember? I gave you that boo.
Oh, yeah, he streamed my level, beat it, and then booed it, David, live on stream. Like a total jerk.
Oh,
and now he wants me to make more levels.
Come on.
Total jerk.
Come on, guy.
Hey.
They say with age comes wisdom. Well, over here at the Cartridge family, we only have one question. Who are they? Join 3 imperfect dads as they juggle kids, wives, and jobs while indulging in their favorite hobby, playing video games.
The Cartridge Family, a Greenlit Network podcast.
Come on, fucking guy.
Come on, fucking guy. So yeah, just the Super Mario movie sequel I've been waiting a long time for. I don't know if Mario's even going to be in it because the guy that played him has passed away. But like John Leguizamo reprising his role as Luigi, that's going to be exciting. I'm just really stoked to finally get a sequel. I've been waiting so long for this sequel. Like, it's just, they set it up and now they're going to knock it out of the park.
My point is,
this is like an Onion story.
It lines up that Nintendo would have this huge lineup of nostalgia trips for Switch
on the 25th.
On the 35th anniversary, 35th anniversary, leading to the release of a movie and an amusement park. Right?
Yeah.
You know what we haven't heard yet? That Super Nintendo World has delayed its opening. We've not heard that yet. That's
man,
that's true.
Definitely. So who do you
coming
get
to
play?
A Shacknews article near you? Super Nintendo World canceled by COVID-19.
Who do you cast?
Canceled, not delayed, but it's over.
They just bulldoze.
You know what it is now?
They're like,
it's done. There's a Canes there. There's a Canes.
We're gonna put a Raising Canes there. That's what we're gonna. Bam, done. Solve save the economy in Japan just now. Boom, Raising Canes. Actually, Yamachan.
They do really well.
Oh,
Yamachans.
Put Yamachan as far as the eye can see.
Oh man, I need Yamachan right now.
Like Raising Canes.
Yamachan, David. If you were in Japan, we would be going to Yamachan. If like us 4 were in Japan right now, we would be going to Yamachan for dinner.
I kind of wish we could just go now.
I know.
I wish I was just.
They're not letting filthy Americans into their country anymore.
They're like, sorry, cracker, get your ass out of here.
Now I'm not even white, and they won't let me.
I know.
They still call him a cracker.
Yeah,
they'll still call you a cracker. For sure.
They might.
Yeah.
So it's super surprising though when they do it. You're like, what? Me? It's almost as confusing as when someone calls me the N-word. I'm like, what? Me? Okay.
So who do you guys cast in the Mario movie? Who would you cast as who?
Charles Martin.
You know this is CG. This is CG.
What? Oh, still. I mean, you gotta cast.
I just did.
You gotta
the voice
cast
of Mario.
people.
I think the voice of Mario should be the voice of Mario.
Nah, John Goodman is Mario.
This could be Charles Martinet's real shot to like cross over, and he's done cartoon voice work before.
Uh-huh.
So I think it'd be cool for him to get the role. He should get the role. He's the voice.
He should.
So
but okay, but
fantasy, he's the voice.
Is this the first you're hearing? Is this the first you're hearing of this Mario movie?
It's just odd to make a sequel to a live-action movie, a CGI movie.
Okay.
You know, I'm wondering how like that they're going to change the art style. I'm saying like, I don't know. This is fantasy casting though. So you're saying that's just Mario? That's just one character.
Isn't he like the voice of several characters?
He's probably Luigi as well.
Wario.
I think he's Toad. I think he might be Toad too.
I'm looking up how many people he voices.
I'm keeping Tom Waits as Toad. Maybe Michael Cera. He'd be a good Toad.
He's Mario, Metal Mario, Luigi.
Metal Mario.
He's Wario. He's Baby Mario. That's a lot.
He's all the Marios.
And I think he's been Mario enemies in certain games. Oh, he's also Dr. Mario, the voice of Dr. Mario in Smash Melee.
Really?
That's important.
What kind of doctor is Dr. Mario? You think he's like a proctologist?
I think he's probably infectious. He's probably infectious disease. Honestly, he'd probably be the right person to put on the coronavirus task force. Honestly,
yeah.
Think about it.
I could see it.
He probably would be able to get at least some sort of a trial going. He might have, he's not a miracle worker here, it's going to take time to do a clinical trial for whatever Mario-based solution to COVID-19 there'd be.
I know. I don't know. My question is like, do we need the Mario movie?
No.
Look,
Yeah.
We don't.
That's the question that I kind of.
You know who does? Nintendo shareholders.
Yeah.
I'm a Nintendo shareholder.
Ding ding.
I'm.
Tell them what you've won. Money for making this movie. And really? It's for China. Like, most of these movies are being made for China. They're not like there's like motion pictures are more popular over there than they are here. For a lot of reasons. There's so few entertainment options that like government approved entertainment options tend to do very well over there.
Yeah, I mean, they're oppressed. The only thing they can do is see movies, basically.
And Nintendo's been on this huge charm offensive in China with the release of Switch over there. And now there's, I think, 3 games that have been approved by the bureaucracy there that allows games to be released on systems and in stores. So I don't know. I think that it's bigger than just they're making a movie. I think, honestly, as a shareholder, as someone who's watched Nintendo sit there with their IP and not use it intelligently, I think it's good that they're doing this.
Well, they learned, right? It's a learning process.
They're super slow at learning. But like the fact that they're doing an amusement park during a global pandemic, that's super great. But at least like they finally did something with their IP that like fans are going to be able to go to a place someday. But yeah,
Not the U.S., only in Japan.
No, they're building one in the U.S. too.
But the Japan one will open first, though.
Not anymore. Like, really? You think, Greg?
Yeah, I mean isn't that construction farther along than the U.S. construction?
Oh, absolutely, but open? I don't know about that. When are amusement parks gonna reopen?
2021.
Right? Everything is canceled.
It's done. 2020. You didn't get the memo? It's done. This
2020 canceled. Everything else pushed to 2021. Mr. Sleepy, long-term listener of the show, he said in the chatty today, if Cyberpunk 2077 gets delayed, that he would stomp on his junk.
Oh, he's gonna have to stop on his junk.
How does he jump? How would he stomp on his own junk?
Or maybe it was like something. Sorry, maybe I'm paraphrasing. Obviously,
we'll fly to his house and I'll get to stomp on his junk.
If you know how Mr. Sleepy posts, you know that I would have to paraphrase, right, David? Like, I'm not.
Oh yeah.
Not saying that Sleepy's a bad poster, just saying that Sleepy
No,
is
he's
very
hilarious.
creative with his words. But I hope he doesn't have to injure himself because of that. And I don't think people should. I think people should just play their backlogs during this time.
Naughty Dog just gave you more reason to do that because Last of Us 2, even though it's basically done, has been delayed due to logistics around coronavirus.
Yeah.
So when I hear this, and then did you see Pete Hines yesterday said that Bethesda's not doing their E3 presentation?
Yeah.
Was that an April Fool's joke?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
It wasn't.
Asif, you and I talked about this recently. Like, if you think about it, what did they have coming out in the near future that they would need a presser for? Like, I feel if E3 had not been canceled, yes, they'd hold one. But what do they really have to show? Like
another trailer for ES6, another trailer, Starfield,
the Starfield thing, yeah.
And then
there's nothing coming. There's nothing
something
coming
about Fallout 76, and then something about Quake Champions.
What about that that Ghost game where the creative lead?
Oh, Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah.
That has no creative director.
No creative director anymore. I don't think that game's gonna actually happen now.
Just another.
While
we're on the subject of news, did you hear about Gearbox?
Yes, they are. Randy Pitchford did a Randy Pitchford thing. It sounds like
he's a magician.
Why is there so much like?
He's like
so much.
Yeah, I'm going to make your bonuses disappear.
I feel like there's a lot of conspiracy that surrounds that guy, and it's not. None of it's good. You know what I mean? Which is odd. Because in person he's so like charismatic and like really interested in like, but like that could all be.
That's how sociopaths are, Greg. All sociopaths are like that. That's like part of the thing.
I don't think he's a sociopath.
He might be. I think Randy Pitchford might be a sociopath.
I mean, just like how much is enough for that?
Because he is swindling people in such a way, and like
sounds closer to a carny con man than a sociopath.
Yeah,
yes.
I think they're both.
Con man is probably closer to the.
It just sucks because like, what's his salary is in the 6 digits, and he's got to like do shady shit to get more. It's just that's just such a terrible attitude to have. Like, really, like you need more than 6 digits, dude. Like, relax. Like, just I don't know. It just sucks.
Well, so break this story down for me because I only saw the bullet points. I've been working on some other stuff. As I understand it, Borderlands 3 is selling well enough that employees should have received a bonus, right? Like a bonus was promised, but now he reneged it?
He basically said that they can't hit the number that they said they were going to before launch because the cost of the game was higher than they had expected. So they made less money than they thought they were going to, and that profit share had to go down as a result.
That's pretty.
What does he mean that the cost of the game was higher than expected? It was a $60 retail game with exorbitantly priced.
I mean the cost of development on their end.
Oh, cost of development.
Cost of development, cost of marketing.
Was Borderlands 3 really like that much of a step up? Like, I don't see how.
Yes.
I'm not throwing shade at Borderlands.
It seems like it's a UE4 game that has. I mean, I don't know. Visually, it's pretty good. I would say it took time.
That still sucks for the staff.
Yeah, because you think about that game, it's got like all these freaking guns and all these different things, and like there's people like artists that work at that place that are getting hosed right now, and devs that are getting hosed right now.
People crunched on that thing and, with the hope of like a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, so to speak. And I don't know.
And I guess he said, and if you don't like it, you can quit. And that's what really, that seems to have pissed off a lot of people at the company. That's why they ran to Jason and Kotaku for the story.
Yeah, that's super messed up.
Yeah. So I think like that's probably not how you lead.
Oh man, that's so cringeworthy. That's such a dick move.
Yeah, so
I don't know, man.
I hope that Borderlands sells well once it releases on Steam, because I think part of this has to do with that. How there was like people boycotting it on Epic Game Store and waiting for it to come out on Steam.
I wonder how it sold on console though, because console players don't.
It sold very well, and Randy touted the sales of the game the first week. I remember he was tweeting about it. I think it's just. So I don't understand how you can go from that to that, and I think that's what's got a lot of developers.
It's odd.
At Gearbox upset. I don't blame them. Okay, well, you want to go down?
I would be upset if I were them too. I think
it would be. Yeah, like it would be one thing, like if I think a good CEO in that situation should come to his employees with kind of humble, maybe hat in hand almost, and say like, here's what's happening. But like, don't say if you don't like it, there's the door. Like that's just insult to financial injury, Like those people worked hard for you. You're probably getting a bonus, so like maybe don't step all over them. Jeez, that sucks.
He's just got friends in the Magic community. He needs to take care of.
I like to think you're talking about the Magic the Gathering community. That's the narrative in my mind.
No, that would be actual cute. Magicians. No,
I was more talking about. I was talking about the woman that they found on the video thumb drive. Like, those types of magicians.
Okay.
The ones that really inspire him. What was she doing? She was like smoking with her vagina or something?
I don't know.
Randy's like, this is magic. This is mystical. Wow. I think it was ping pong balls? I don't know. She made
I can't remember. But
I guess
allegedly, an alleged thumb drive and an alleged dinner at Excalibur, where they
it's an alleged magic trick.
Yeah, so lots of gaps there in the story. But all we know is that there were devs that were confident enough to come up to Jason and talk to him about that. So
That's sad.
Good reporting by Kotaku on that.
Because I know we have a lot of Gearbox folks in our forums as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. So that's super.
There are definitely shackers over there at Gearbox.
Yeah, we have a shacker that works for 2K.
I hear that maybe even the head of Gearbox Publishing might have been a shacker.
That's true.
That's what I hear.
The rumors are boundless. Boundless rumors.
But yeah, he hasn't deleted his account yet. Wickus. Do you see Mojo? He deleted and recreated.
He did. Yeah, something about because of a new job, he felt like a lot of his history could get him into trouble, so he wanted a clean slate. Mm-hmm. Which he came back, so good for him.
He's been posting the COVID-19 thread every day.
Yeah, the Corona bucket. He's much less of an overt troll than he used to be. I think he still trolls here and there, but he's actually been a productive member of the community.
He's been posting the daily COVID thread and actually really focused on the facts. Just nice to see.
Yeah.
So I'd actually shout him out for that, not for being a terrible troll or anything.
Right.
But yeah, he used the delete and recreate. He didn't just disappear. I don't know. Is there anything else? Yeah, QuakeCon got canceled.
That's sad. That's the one show I was hoping might be able to pull through. Like I kind of expected it to get canceled as the weeks wore on, but like I look forward to that every year.
So now it's like they're all done.
Yeah, I don't. It's I mean, 2020's been canceled. I don't think it's sinking into people yet. Like movies that are coming out in July are being pushed to next March.
I know Ghostbusters, Greg. My condolences.
It's fine. I was hoping that the theaters would just go bankrupt, and then we could just move to a digital experience like we should have 5 years ago. But we have to keep those movie theaters alive.
I like going
a lot
to
of theatrical releases. I do too. But like to Greg's point, a lot of theatrical releases have come to like Amazon. At least I don't have Netflix, but I know that like The Invisible Man, Pixar's newest movie, whatever the hell it's called, is on. Like you can buy them on Amazon Prime. They're calling it early access.
Early access.
That's what it literally says. Early access across the top of the movies. So.
Because there was a prediction by Steve Jobs in 2010 that someday digital media would replace cinema. It would just cost a bunch of money.
We're at that point.
Yeah.
Like there's no. I mean, you have your ArcLight theaters, which is what people would argue, but like I don't have an ArcLight theater within 100 miles of me, so like there's no reason. And last movie we went to see in the theaters was It, and it was gross. Because like they were like, first of all, there were a bunch of like 14-year-olds there for some reason, unaccompanied children everywhere. There was a guy vaping in the theater. It was just disgusting. It's time for these things to die and move on with the future. Like that's just how it is.
Like subjectively, I enjoy going to theaters, but like objectively, I don't go very often, and I probably wouldn't miss them. Like I watch more movies at home than I do in theaters.
But the thing is, I think the problem is it cascades, right? The Hollywood's used to getting that income. Am I a laggy on your screen?
Yes.
Because my thing, I think my Zoom thing.
You're moving like 2 frames per second.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Maslin Cable's hanging on, but Greg is stumbling.
David's potato internet may have low bandwidth, but it's at least showing up 20 frames a second.
I think Maslin Cable has 4 tiers. You're on the 4th. I'm on the 3rd. Like I'm not even really.
So you're not on the lowest.
There we go. I said.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
So here's the thing. Like it's a shit rolls downhill type of situation. Movie theaters, Hollywood depends on that income every year to distribute. Like they're too nervous to just release on digital like for $20. Like they're too nervous because there used to be 4 ways movies made money: theater release, DVD release, paid syndication, and then finally like public syndication. Now 2 of those are practically gone. It's just like theater release and digital release. But it's not only that they depend on that money, but like it's also like somewhere out there's a whole industry that makes popcorn bags. And if they go under, the popcorn bag industry is going to collapse. And like, but it's not just the popcorn bags; it's the Nestle candy industry. Like, so that's what they try to fall behind and saying why they can't fail, because all these sub industries will fail too. But like, I don't know. I feel like we're moving toward automation anyway, and theaters are gross. So like, why not just get rid of them and move forward with our lives?
So why can't we let companies die? Like, why can't we let the
that's the thing, right?
Die?
I think that someone in the Corona Bucket on Chatty today mentioned that, like, you know, think about the day before everything started to shut down. When people are like, oh, we couldn't possibly lose this industry. Then you had no choice. So now we're going to lose industry. Now it's no longer hemming and hawing over thought experiments. Now it's happening. Like the theater industry may die or at least come back limping, whatever Hollywood wanted, because now they have no choice.
Well, it's really weird, man. Like what's happening right now is, okay, so companies can't afford to keep their employees because there's no revenues coming in. The government has issued $350 billion worth of loans. But it's this weird deal where you have to take the money and keep people employed for 2 years. And then if you do that, the debt's forgiven. These companies don't want to take the deal. They don't want to commit to keeping people employed that long because they don't believe that their revenues are going to be able to survive. And that's what Greg's speaking to, is that there are industries that are probably going to forever be crippled by this moment. They are going to be hamstrung by this moment.
Agreed.
And for me, the most glaring ones are the cruise lines. We do not need cruises.
No.
We never did.
Let them fail. Let them fail. Do not give them $1 of bailout money.
No.
And and I feel bad for everyone who works on the cruise lines. It's not about them. It's about what those companies actually do. Like, we need to reprioritize what we value in this society. So it's like, people are like, well, what about football season? I'm like, God, I hope, like, if we're safe, like, fine. But, like, no. Like, don't bring back football and endanger people with hundreds of thousands of people. What was it, like, average stadium in the U.S. is, like, 50,000, 60,000 people?
Yeah.
Are we really sure that we're going to be able to do that, Roger Goodell? Probably not. But he's very motivated because there's, like, it's like this is like the last time that these companies can make money before they go bankrupt, basically. So it's like, and tomorrow is the day. Like, we're filming this April 2nd. April 3rd is the first day that small businesses can go to the government for these loans.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna see if they do it. Okay, but so far, 10 million people have lost their jobs in 2 weeks. So
yeah,
I don't think the companies are taking the government's deal. I think they're just firing people.
Because like it's the huge corporate companies aren't taking the deal, but I know in the state, like there are some deals for smaller businesses. Like if you are a one-man guy that owns a restaurant,
the $350 billion is for small businesses.
Yeah.
But I'm still seeing, like, I have several friends who have lost their jobs in the last 2 weeks that work for small businesses who aren't taking the deal because they're just like, this is our excuse to cut costs anyway.
Yeah.
Because they're like, we can't afford to keep everyone on even with this loan. That's what I think's being said. Because they're like, I'm committing to 2 years, but I'm only getting 4 months of the money. So you're assuming that after 4 months, I as a small businessman am going to be back to profitability. They're not factoring in the loss that you're going to feel, the spoilage that some of these companies are going to have hit. Like, this is going to hurt for years. I don't think like people understand that right now.
Can't they just do stock buybacks, Sasa? That's all they want. I mean, can't they? It's all they want to do.
I'm glad you brought that up. Why are we bailing off? Like, okay, we need airlines. We need planes. Gotcha. Do we need United Airlines to continue to exist? No. Like, we don't have to bail out shareholders. We don't have to like what happened I think it was the mid-90s. They created basically a good bank to buy all of these savings and loan institutions' assets out of bankruptcy. That's what we need to do now with the airline industry. Let them go bankrupt if they manage their companies poorly. Create stable entities that can buy their assets and recreate new companies. Let capitalism actually work. Instead, we're going to get like $40 billion or something of bailouts for them. And it's only going to get them to September. And then they're going to fire everyone. So it's like, I see like what they've done with this bailout. And I'm like, it's not, I fear that small businesses aren't going to take the deal. You have Boeing complaining about their bailout. That's rich. Like these companies that are like already in trouble complaining about bailouts. But I foresee this, and I think that they're still going to fire people. That's my biggest concern. And like, I think that like what Greg's saying though, like movie theaters, Dave and Buster's, Dave and Buster's is done. Dave and Buster's was already kind of whack, right? Yeah. It was just giant touchscreen mobile
games for $2 to play.
Sucks. Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah,
and like, how hilarious is this, David? The one in Canton that opened this year.
Yeah.
How are they feeling right now?
Bad. Not good.
They should have known. They opened inside of what used to be a Sears.
It's
in a shopping mall. In a shopping mall.
That's just bad karma. Like, don't do that.
Yeah. It's just
that's like it just invaded a dead corpse to put like a slowly rotting corpse inside of it. That doesn't sound right at all.
It's Canton, Ohio as fuck right there, though. That is like...
Oh, it so is.
That's the most Canton, Ohio fucking thing ever. Because like half of the Sears is now like abandoned and like... It's
like the lower part, right? Yeah.
It's really messed up looking. It's gonna look It's gonna look... Yeah, I haven't been over there. It's probably like a neutron bomb went off.
It's like we didn't learn in 2008.
I bet the hood geese are moving in, I bet.
Oh, David, I went to get Lola food yesterday, and I had to go up 241 to 77, right? Mm-hmm. There's that bend, and there's like a barn. There's like a big red barn, and like that bend over by the airport. I saw 12 hood geese.
Oh, dude, their numbers are growing.
Yeah.
They found something in the water that they were eating.
There's no old folks with bread to call the herd.
But yeah, dude,
that's true.
It was the most hood geese I've seen in one group in a while. There was a flock of hood geese. I was like, my God, they're running rampant. There's no one to stop them. They're gonna take over the entire city's gonna be overrun with hood geese soon.
See, Lola would keep them in check. Wouldn't she, like, bark at them from the office?
She barked. Like, whenever I came to the office with her, she'd bark at them from her carrier. I'm like, Lola, they're hood geese. Don't start with them.
The checks and balances are crumbling.
You don't know if they have a gun.
No, you don't. Like, these hood geese, dude. Oh, yeah. They're carrying.
These geese are guaranteed. Carry state, of course.
What's strapped under that wing? You don't know.
I'm just saying. I just assume everyone has a gun right now. It's a good way to go about life right now. Especially those hood geese. Just hitting on the corner. I was like, I'm going as fast as I can past them. In my autopilot Tesla. But yeah. It was weird, man. Like, I saw too many people out there.
Hood geese. Oh, yeah. It's terrible. Yeah.
I see.
Lowe's was packed the other day.
And I went to the grocery store. No one's doing social distancing properly. Like, they'll just like walk right by you, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" I'm trying to stay 6 feet away from you, motherfuckers. Nope, right by me. I'm like, "Thanks."
Yep.
Thanks for that. And like, it's too crowded.
It's terrible. Yeah, it is.
Should be able to get like some sort of belt with like a zone around it, like a hula hoop attached to it. So that people
even at my
like the bubble
at my doctor's office in the waiting room, like every other chair has like a strip of tape across it, so that you have to sit in every other chair, right? Like you can't sit right next to someone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they need to do that at the lines. Yeah. I've seen some California is taking this more seriously than most places, especially Northern California. But I've seen like Costco is taking measures for that, like.
It depends on the place, I guess. Like I was at Target earlier. I went to Target to pick up a prescription, and then I had to get some distilled water there as well. So when I went to the self-checkout, they had X's in front of each self-checkout kiosk to show you, like, this is where you should stand. Don't get any closer than the X's, like social distancing. And like I adhere to that shit. Like
okay,
I
so
go
Target,
out as little as I have to. Target is doing well. Giant Eagle is doing okay too, but like I
they're
feel like
slammed.
unless you're using unless you're using all self-checkout lanes, you cannot distance people because lines just build up at registers. So
I think it also depends on like the area you're living in. I live like I know places like Temecula, they're making people line up and wait to go into the store. My parents live, but out here we've been able to go to the store consistently without having to wait in lines. There haven't been a lot of people there. It's been very quiet because we're a town of I think 14,000 people, and Temecula is 120,000.
Yeah,
so
Canton is about 120.
Absolutely no.
180,000.
I don't even want to know what Blake's is. Blake's is probably a lot higher.
Oh, so many people here. It's stupid.
Let's see.
There's just so many people in Oakland.
I didn't realize Canton, Ohio was around 180,000. That makes sense.
Let's see. Sorry, no, 80,000. 70,900 is Canton.
So,
okay, I was going to say like,
but Greater Canton, like you do Canton, Akron, and like
like Jackson, and
that's what I mean. Like Canton is weird because there's a bunch of townships that don't count.
Yeah, like I'm in Jackson Township, but I have a Canton mailing address.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then there's like Green, Ohio. There's a bunch of cities next to Canton that don't want to incorporate into the city of Canton. So, but yeah, we're about 100,000 people here, so it's not like super small. Oakland, I'm kind of curious. It's a shit ton of people. And it's
that's what I was gonna say. It's just gonna be like a shit ton.
425,000 people as of 2017.
Wow, that's too many people.
And you think about how big Oakland is, just geographically, that's a shit ton of density.
It is. Asif, what do you think? I read some articles the other day about so publishers are kind of doing the same thing Hollywood is, where a lot of the bigger publishers, like Stephen King's book, I hear he has one that was due out this month, but it might get pushed back, and people are saying, oh, the publishing industry is going to die. But digital books are doing even better. Like for the last few years, print books kind of rallied back and outsold digital books, but now digital books are on an upsurge because everyone's at home and like, hey, Barnes & Noble is closed, but like Amazon's not, so I'm just going to buy shit on my Kindle, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's like half the story. Like, oh, publishing is doomed. Like maybe the print industry.
Yeah, digital publishing
books are still selling well.
What is this like? The next wave of digital publishing? Like,
I mean, it's the shut-in wave. Everything's going digital for now.
Yeah,
like that's why movies are getting released early.
YouTube is gonna be more used. I think. It's interesting. There were two sports talk shows that I watch quite a bit. There's the Dan Patrick Show, and it's the Rich Eisen Show, and they're both on Audience Network. They were, and that was like a DirecTV company, which was now an AT&T company. They broke their contract with them, so like these were TV shows that were aired on this one channel, and then they would rebroadcast them on YouTube, or not the full thing. They would like clip them, and then they also broadcasted it on Bleacher Report or something. Anyway, they broke this contract deal. So like about 2 weeks before everything went to shit, they became live streamers, and they stopped having television broadcasts, and they pivoted to being YouTube channels. I thought it was pretty interesting. Like they just flipped the switch. Same production quality of their television show was now just being broadcast on YouTube, and they weren't dependent on anything. Like they're not. I thought it was really interesting.
That is interesting. I'm like very fascinated by how industries are pivoting. Like WWE and AEW for the first couple weeks, of empty stadium shows, they kept the same camera setup, but it was weird because they just had these like rows of empty chairs, and like in the WWE Performance Center. But what they started to do is now they reoriented the camera so that it faces the entrance ramp, which means the empty chairs are on the sides. So now you're not constantly reminded that this is just an empty arena, because like wrestling, I think live sports and athletic events in general lose something without crowds, right?
Yeah.
But now you're not as reminded of the fact that like all these chairs are empty. It's almost like a regular TV show where we're just seeing the quote unquote stage and the performers. It's just interesting to see how everyone's adapting. Game publishers too. Like a week or so ago, for about 2 weeks, Capcom ran a fantastic Humble Bundle. Like for $20, I got Mega Man 11, Mega Man X Anniversary Collection 1, like 4 Resident Evil games. Like publishers are like looking at this as an opportunity to say, hey, people are home, let's make sure we can get them a lot of games for as cheap as possible to sell more. It's just really fascinating.
And they're also
what businesses are doing.
With Humble, they're donating all that to charity a lot of the case.
Right.
So that's
right.
Cool.
I curate gaming books for storybundle.com. We have a bundle launching next week, and we're working with Doctors Without Borders. That's our charity partner.
Cool.
So, because I'm sitting here thinking, like, it kind of sucks. Like, I feel helpless not doing anything. So how can I like feel good about giving people a distraction, but also do something except sit in my apartment and kind of be anxious every now and then? And this has kind of been an avenue for that. You know what I mean?
I saw Giant Bomb's Unprofessional Friday streams are going to be all charity streams for the foreseeable future. So that's kind of cool.
Are they
What
still
kind of
premium,
charity?
or is everything open now?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Huh, okay.
Do they announce the charities they're going to be given to, or is it going to be like a rotation? Or
It sounded like COVID-19 relief, so I don't know. There's a bunch of different funds for that. A bunch of different charities are doing things in that space because there's so much money needed for so many things. I found that food banks are a good thing. If you don't know what to donate to, your local food bank is a good thing. But yeah, there's a lot of charities out there that are going to be hurting from this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a global pandemic. What are you gonna do?
There sure is.
So
Our best. We're gonna do our best.
So Greg, let's talk about why you're here. You messaged me. I'm gonna pull up this message. I'll pull up this message because I was like, wow, Greg mad. Greg big mad. Yeah, 2:22 a.m. I'm asleep on my couch. This was yesterday morning, right? So Wednesday, late Tuesday night in California. Yep, this game is not a 10 anymore. It was ramping up to be one. I'm really upset. I apparently woke up 2 minutes later on my couch, and I said, womp womp. But yeah, yep. Greg, what happened? You loved this game. This game was
so good.
So I guess we're going to have to say spoilers for Final Fantasy VII Remake, a game that is based on a game that came out
23 years ago.
Yeah.
So
so now I've said spoilers. If just turn off the episode or go buy some toilet paper.
Yeah, if you can't handle the story that spoiled 23 years ago, then I'm sorry. Then like honestly.
But this is going to be a spoiler cast from here on out because Greg is a big sort of mad, and I want him to explain why you mad. Why you mad, bro?
The original 97 game was like when it came out, it was state of the art. It was like a pinnacle of like fantasy RPGs. It was the first 3D Final Fantasy we'd ever gotten, and it had epic set pieces and moments and cinematic cutscenes. 6 had cinematic cutscenes as well, but this had also had cinematic cutscenes, epic music, stories, characters that people had loved and grown attached to, and a huge twist in the game where like a character just dies, and like that didn't really happen. This is pre-Game of Thrones. That shit didn't happen in video games. You know, like a main character you followed through 40 hours, 50 hours of the gameplay just dies. So it was a big... These are really large shoes to fill. I know the game itself hasn't aged well in terms of like game mechanics or visuals. It's still very good. And this game is incredible in a way that it makes you feel like I was 12 again in my rec room playing it for the first time, but it's a new game. It still has beats and bosses and stuff, but it does this incredible job at mimicking that same kind of revolutionary feel of how can we improve on a story? How can we retell and re-reg a story in a new way? And they were doing it in spades. And the game does have some technical limitations, but I don't want to get into technical limitations, but just the story started ramping, and all these characters that you started to talk to and relate to and work with, they start to feel like a family, and like you start to care for them. And if you played the 97 game, you know exactly where this game ends, or you have a suspicion, I should say, of where the game ends, and your suspicions would be correct. And the game was ramping up to be a 10 because everything was done so incredibly well. And then right when the game should end, would have been perfect. And have been, holy shit, this was incredible, 10 out of 10. What an amazing game. I can't wait to play the other sequels. It fucking goes into something else entirely. And it's like an hour and a half of just a Kingdom Hearts-like fucking boss battle that is completely out of the world. Like, it rips you out of this world it establishes and puts you in this really over-the-top crazy boss battle that doesn't fit in the world, doesn't look like it fits in the world, and completely is just superfluous, unnecessary, did not need it. So you slog through that shitty boss battle, and you're like, cool, it's done now, right? No! You have to fight Sephiroth, because you have to fight him. And that's when I just, like, was completely devastated. Because I'm just like, Jesus H. Christ, they had to put him in the game as a boss fight? Like, in the original game, you spend the entirety of the game hunting this guy. You never fight him once until the very, very, very end. There's just massive buildup as you're discovering the history between him and Cloud and what happened and how it happened. And it does this slowly ramp up to this ultimate fucking showdown between Cloud and Sephiroth. And even though that very last battle before the cutscene at the ending is totally scripted, you automatically it's you and Sephiroth facing off. Cloud does his ultimate limit break and the game ends. And it's fantastic. It's like all that build up for that, you know, because so much history is there. They take that exact cutscene from the end of 7 and put it at the end of this. They don't and they have like a CGI kind of battle, but it's too epic. And on top of that, people who don't know the game aren't going to understand what the big deal is, because they don't give you enough information about the history of Cloud and Sephiroth and how that rivalry sparked and what happens. So there's absolutely no payoff or satisfaction when you beat him, because there was no stakes. Like, there's no, like, what's the relationship between Cloud and Sephiroth? We don't fucking know, because the game didn't really explain it. But like it's like it was thrown in for fanfare, but I didn't want that because I was looking forward to, because in the original game, you got on the highway. Because David, you've played it. Blake, you haven't.
No, I have not.
I've not played Final Fantasy VII.
Okay, sorry, but in the original game, you go to rescue someone in this tower, and it's this big epic climax, and you go on this road, and you're being chased by this giant robot, and you defeat the robot, and then like all the characters are overlooking this highway on the edge of the city, and they're like, well, what do we do now? It's like, well, we have to go fight Sephiroth. And then they leave, and then the game world opens up, and it becomes an open world game and all that stuff. But that's where the remake ends, and that's where it should end. And it would be great. The last line of the game is they're all on the edge of the highway, and Sephiroth looks at Cloud and says, "I'll see you soon," and he turns around and just leaves. And like, that's where the fucking game should have ended. It would have been awesome, but no. And then everyone starts talking again. You're like, wait, what's happening? And they're just like, we have to go stop Destiny. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened to this game? And then you go into the portal and you do all the shit I just said. And you're like, why? Why was this in here?
Why was Jango Fett in the prequels?
Why was
he didn't need Jango Fett?
You didn't need Jango Fett.
It was a Jango Fett.
Well, I think Greg has a really good point, though. When you take the line from the very end of the game and you slap it on to what is the end of part 1 of 3, you've done a disservice to anyone. It's fan service. It's a disservice to people who actually appreciate the original story.
And I'm a mega
Greg's
fan.
clearly in that.
And I hated it. And new fans are going to be fucking confused. So it infuriates me that they would change the story, because you're not really fighting him. You're in another dimension fighting a possible future, and it's just like you didn't need any of that, because the game was, yeah, you're summoning demons and fucking using magic, but it's pretty fucking grounded for the most part. Like, you're like boots on the ground, like fighting things with your fucking sword. You know what I mean? Like, and then it does this like huge Kingdom Hearts thing out of nowhere, and it just rips you out of the world that it does.
I for one am shocked that a JRPG developer would pad their game.
I am shocked.
Unheard of. I'm only kidding. That sounds kind of like it sucks. It sounds like what you described should have been like a perfect cliffhanger to like get you really stoked for the next one.
Yeah.
And David, you mentioned something earlier about like you weren't given any time to breathe. It was nonstop boss battles for like 2 hours before that. It was just and they were all fine. But like, and then like I got like one small segment where they're like, once you go through the portal, they were like, there's no going back. Make sure you get all your potions and shit. I'm like, am I gonna have to do fucking more boss battles? And yes, I did. So I got no breathing room, no chance to like claim victory over like escaping the building. Like all that's ripped away from you, and you're just like, now you gotta do another hour and a half boss battle. And it was so agitating because you start the combat has a flow to it, much like Doom. Like you're like, you know, you have a dance and a ballet that you're doing in the battlefield. You start doing that, and right as you start to get into it, it plays like a stage cutscene. So you just get totally interrupted. You're like, what the fuck? And it did it like 8 or 9 times. It did it in other boss fights, but much more in this one. I'm like, Christ, like, if you're going to show me a fucking cutscene, just show me the cutscene. Don't pretend this is a battle that matters if you're just going to cut away to someone doing something and then cut back to a different stage. But it just, I don't know. Yeah. I felt like they had a discussion where it's like, where should we end it? And they didn't feel that the 3 other boss fights before this one were quite epic enough. And for some reason, you had to fight the big bad villain in the first game, which you shouldn't have. The build-up between that rivalry was what made that battle so epic. And
do you think they're afraid that people wouldn't, like, it's like, this game,
pivoting?
This is like, I don't know, it just feels like this game is a victim of not being one game. It's like,
yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
If they didn't, I think in their mind, they're like, this is its own game, right? They're calling it Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's not even called Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1, right? It's just...
But it still ends with a cliffhanger. Like,
I know.
Nothing's resolved.
I know, it's dumb. But, like, I think that they looked at it like, it can't stand alone without this boss battle. So there's going to be an even dumber boss battle at the end of Part 2 of this, is what I'm getting at.
What if this is where it pivots, though? Like, what if this is where the story pivots from the original, and that's why they did it? It
could be.
It's because that
it doesn't seem like
it
doesn't seem like it's adding to it, though.
See, here's the thing. Blake's right. It does. The story pivots, but the problem is it's pivoted before this, and like all the new changes I've enjoyed. Like they've changed monumental things in this game, like staples. They've just gotten rid of it and just changed it, and I've liked all of it. Like I don't look at it as comparing it to the first one. I look at it as, does it work? Does it improve the story? Does it improve the characters? And it does. Like it makes it a lot deeper experience when like there's specific deaths in the like I don't know. Blake wants to play it. I don't know if I want to spoil it for him. Like
I do want to play it, but like, you know, if we're doing this, we're doing this. I mean,
I gave you
the game.
Well,
yeah, I had a spoiler.
This isn't too crazy, but like in the original game, Biggs, Wegs, and Jesse die. They just die. Like they just, it's really abrupt, and you're like, holy shit, they killed off 3 characters. And apparently that was kind of like a normal thing in Final Fantasies, like 2 through 6. Like these characters are in all of them and they always die. But I wasn't sure.
Kenny.
Basically, so that's what I've heard. I've never played any. I've played 1 and 7, and 7 was the only one I played all the way through. But apparently, so they don't die in this game. Like 1 dies, the other 2 survive, and it's like that's a huge change. But I didn't mind it because they developed them monumentally as characters. And like you go to like Jesse's mom's house, and you see your dad, and it talks about how you get radiation poisoning from all the reactors and why they're trying to stop it. Like it takes these little stupid segments in the 97 version that weren't anything, and turns these 10-minute segments into 2-hour-long chapters, and it just expands the universe exponentially and makes you feel for these people and the city and these characters and their cause. And it's really well written. And the whole game's like that until the fucking end. And that's where it just goes like batshit crazy. And you're like, why? You didn't need this. Everything was pretty grounded up until that point.
Everything, it sounded like Greg was singing this game's praises for most of the review process. And then it was like, right when he got to the end, it was like someone pooped in his cereal. Like it was the worst day ever.
Here, I'll read the excerpt of my review. I'll read it right here because I have it up. So it says, I'm not going to ruin the end game here, but I will say that the last 1.5 hours of the game is a slog, a drag, an unnecessary over-the-top crescendo that didn't need to happen. The game spends 35 hours or more building up this world, these characters, and these mysteries up, only to abruptly whip you violently into a Kingdom Hearts 2-like boss fight that's more cinematic than actual battle. It completely breaks the tone, style, and story of the world you just spent the latter half experiencing. The longer this end segment went on, the more upset, disappointed, and devastated I became. I didn't enjoy this. The game should have ended, but it didn't. An hour and a half of just something we didn't need to play or see, something that will most likely confuse newcomers to the series. I consider myself a huge Final Fantasy fan, and I disliked every minute of it. I felt it wasn't needed, but tacked on for fanfare or game length.
That's got box quote written all over it.
Right? It's the only negative thing I say about it, really. So.
No, sounds like we don't have to have a 10 out of 10.
No, we're not having a 10 out of 10 intervention today.
No,
good news, Blake. This is not a 10 out of 10. But this sounds like a good game up until this point. It really does sound like a very good game.
Everything from the battle system to the cutscenes to the environments, the structure, the story, the dialogue, everything flows together just perfectly. There's some great one-liners in this game, and I wouldn't do them justice if I quoted them here. But Blake, you'll laugh several times. Asif, you'll laugh several times at some interactions with characters. They're just really spot on with their line delivery.
Well, I'm still excited to play this game.
I'm gonna be disappointed if I don't now, and I'm gonna blame it on you and take it out on you, Greg.
Greg, do yourself a favor when they get to the highway, just shut the game off. Just be like, that was great. Power off, and then just wait for the next one.
Maybe cue the "Life is a Highway" song.
Yeah, Life is a Highway.
So,
cut to credits.
Now,
just
like, once again, not to be too spoilery, I'm kind of curious. The boss, this hour and a half slog. Is there a departure from the gameplay mechanics of the rest of the game during it as well?
No, it's just a very yes and no, because basically, like the first slog boss battle, you're fighting these three like elemental things that kind of look like the slug monsters from Resident Evil 7, but they're like kind of hard. They're just weird elemental things. And the whole game, you scan things and it tells you strategies and how to beat them, their weaknesses, and how to stagger them. But the SS, it doesn't do that for this boss. It just doesn't tell you. It just goes question mark. So you just basically hit it till it dies. And then after that's done, you think you're done, and then you have to fight Sephiroth, it's just really over the top. If you've seen Advent Children, it's like that. And it's just kind of weird because nothing like that was in the game. Even when I saw the Advent Children movie, I don't know if any of you have seen the Advent Children movie.
I have seen that.
It's a very entertaining movie, and they do a lot of really cool shit in it. But like nothing like that was in the original game, like not to that scale.
Well, it was all like tiny polygon people and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, so they were limited.
I mean,
but at the same time, sometimes like the death of Sephiroth is more powerful the more simplistic it is. You know what I mean? Sometimes the more simplistic something is, the more powerful it can be. Like, yes, it looks cool to like have Cloud flying in midair, waving his sword around 1,000,000 miles an hour, but like, I think of it like kind of like a samurai movie, Blake, right? The samurai, they do this, and then they run, and then they stop, and one falls, right? It's not like a 50-minute battle sequence. That can be just as powerful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Obi-Wan and Vader versus
the Orin
flipping around.
The Oranishi battle and Kill Bill.
Yeah, so stuff like that. Like it can still be just as powerful, but they, for some reason, I think they wanted to end on a really high note. And like you said, also, we need them to fight Sephiroth because that's what fans will want. It's like, I didn't want that. I was actually hoping we didn't fight him. But yeah, that's the only point. But I can't let an hour and a half on the end of the game ruin the entire 40 hours I spent in it, because it's still a magnificent piece of work.
And who knows what's going to happen when part 2 comes out. right?
Yeah, that's going to be in 2 or 3 years, I guess.
Oh my God, really?
Canceled because of COVID-19. Sorry.
Is it really supposed to be another 2 or 3 years?
That's actually the secret, Greg.
Wow.
What you didn't realize was that they patched Final Fantasy VII Remake with the boss battle from the end of the game because the other 2 games have been canceled due to COVID-19. That's what they didn't tell you.
And now the last 2 parts of Final Fantasy II Remake or Final Fantasy VII Remake are Canes. So
yeah, now also Last of Us 2 also Raising Canes now.
Raising Canes.
Iron Man VR.
Raising Canes there.
Iron Man VR.
Brought to you by Raising Canes.
Iron Man VR. It's now
Raising Canes. Raising Canes.
Yeah, South by Southwest.
So South by Southwest has been replaced by a Raising Canes.
All the downtown.
QuakeCon.
All the downtown Austin.
QuakeCon 2020 is now a Raising Canes.
The Gaylord Hotel.
Party at a Raising Canes. No,
Gaylord Hotel, just a giant, massive Raising Canes.
Yeah, the Gaylord Hotel in Dallas, or not, where is it? Grapevine, is going to be replaced by the world's largest Raising Canes. You can see it.
That would be an improvement. That would definitely be an improvement for their food service quality.
Oh my God, that deconstructed sandwich you got.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like a never forget moment. That's the first permabanned restaurant in the history of the Shackcast, other than the ones that threatened to sue us.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the first restaurant we've permabanned, not that.
The other one was Pinky's Out in Southern California.
That was tragic. I like that place.
The Texas Station, trash.
Yeah.
What a tourist trap garbage restaurant. Right, Blake?
That wasn't Texas at all. That wasn't Texas style.
No, everything's bigger
opposite of Texas style.
Opposite of Texas style.
It was the opposite of Texas style.
Yeah. We need to put a Raising Canes there, Texas style.
God, man, if you put a Raising Canes in the Gaylord Texan, we would never have to leave during QuakeCon.
No.
You could just stay there. Because you have to get the hell out. You can't eat the food in there. It's terrible.
Yeah.
The other options are equally bad.
Next year, though, we should make some time to go to Medieval Times after.
There's a Medieval Times there?
There's a Medieval Times near the QuakeCon, unless they closed it down.
I bet it's closed down to.
Well, it's probably closed down now.
It's been canceled.
Now it's a Canes. Now it's a Medieval Raising Canes.
Now you know what we're gonna put them. It's gonna be a Raising Canes at Medieval Times.
It's called Canes Time.
California is now just a Raising Canes.
I wish. Oh man,
it's the RoboCop future, but instead of Omnicorp, it's Raising Canes.
Instead of Taco Bell, it's Raising Canes. That's the only difference.
Only the one.
We are heading to a 3-shell solution here, Craig.
Right.
We are. We're getting here. We're getting there.
I don't know. I got decent toilet paper supplies still.
It gets a little empty every time we see it.
You're good. Yeah, every time we've done the episode, you're noticing it's dwindling. It's like my health status in a game. You know, like how many parts you have.
That sounds like something out of Earthworm Jim. That's great.
Or in Death Stranding, the toilet paper version that's coming out this summer.
Yeah,
you can have like little toilet paper logos instead of
Some indies got to make like a COVID simulator where you just sit in your room and like hoard toilet paper, and they'll make millions of dollars on Steam.
Instead of Papers, Please, the sequel is Toilet Paper, Please.
Yeah.
Toilet Paper Tycoon 2020.
Oh,
toilet paper.
That's it right there. That's the game.
And if you lose, you open a Raising Canes.
What? I mean, someone will totally make that game, I bet.
I bet it's already in development.
Well, man, David's gone like
my monitors. I have I have 5 computers in here. I don't even know how that happened, but the screens all go dark, and that's not enough.
One for every day of the week.
Yeah. Chromebook is the Monday computer.
Chromebook is the I hate myself computer.
Yeah, poor Chromebook.
Yeah, fucking Chromebooks. I have a Chromebook that I don't even want.
It was $200. You can't argue with that.
Yeah, I mean, it does a thing.
That's a lot of Swensons. I'd rather eat the Swensons than have a Chromebook.
That's true.
That's $200 worth of Swensons right there. You should take that $200 and go to Swensons tonight and stockpile on hamburgers.
Yeah, I should.
Just be like, look, man, I'll just give you this computer. Just bring me all the burgers you got. You know what I think? Anybody working at Swenson's right now should get 5 olives. They should get 5 olives for working in a time of crisis.
I actually asked the kid who had 3. I was like, you're only at 3 olives? He's like, I applied for the 4th. They told me I couldn't get it because it's a matter of time. Like he passed all the tests, but he couldn't get his 4th olive because he hadn't been there long enough.
I think now is the time you take away those restrictions. I don't
know, man. Their militarism over there is probably what's going to keep them afloat.
Look, I think if you're serving during a time of crisis, you deserve those 5 olives.
At least bump them up 1 olive if they make it through the pandemic,
right? And if they died during the pandemic, they should get posthumous 5 olives.
Yeah, posthumous 5 olives.
There should be 5 olives on their tombstone.
If there wasn't ever time for that workforce to strike, now would be it, because it'll cripple companies like McDonald's and Burger King if they, you know what I mean? Like, if now they need to do it. Like, this is where you need to do the strike because you have leverage. You know what I mean?
That's happening.
But they're broke and they need to work.
I don't think Swenson's is treating their employees badly as a family-run company either.
No, but like people like McDonald's and Burger King are like they're
they're flipping out.
No,
it's like certain places are already reaching their boiling points and having protests and walkouts. That just happened the other day at Amazon at a
Amazon in New York, and then they fired the organizer of the walkout
because they don't have a union to protect him. Yeah, so they can just do that.
Yep.
But the walkout still went forward even without them.
Yeah.
But then also there was another company that delivers groceries.
Instacart
had a walkout. Yeah, Instacart.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard rumors of other Amazon walkouts that are supposed to happen this week or next week.
Sure.
I think that's it. I'm all for it, man. I am all for the season the means of production.
Let's raise the minimum wage and give everyone health care.
Let's let them unionize. Let's let
people unionize. Let's get them workers' rights and paid family leave and all that crap.
Right?
But, it's
fine. It's just going to speedline the automated process. So when they unionize in 2 years, you'll have a robot giving you food at McDonald's because they'll start pouring R&D into.
Actually, that's the founder of Hardee's and Carl's Jr. has a big proponent of robotics because he wants to replace his workforce with robots.
Yeah, that's the future. He's
been totally open about it.
That's gonna happen. It's unavoidable.
No, what's gonna happen is your small businesses are gonna go out of business, and we're gonna replace them with Raising Cane's. I've talked to the Federal Reserve and the Treasury.
Only in the East Coast, though.
They've given me an infinite loan facility of infinite money they print, and it is designated only for Raising Cane's. So if your airline shuts down, we'll buy your airline from you, but you're now a Raising Cane's. And I think this is the way things are going to go, but it's better than just bailing out Boeing. I'd rather have Raising Cane's run Boeing than Boeing.
Yeah.
The sauce would be better. Fries would be better. They'd be consistent. That's the thing about Cane's. I've been to a lot of Cane's. They're all the same. It's like Starbucks. Starbucks is very good about that. Maybe we'll let Starbucks survive this apocalypse too.
What if you merge them? Like a Starbucks Raising Cane's.
Star Cane's.
Star Cane's.
This is the problem. I don't crave them at the same time.
You might.
But you don't have to. You can get coffee, you can get tea, or you can choose. That's the great thing.
When you go there, Asif, you'll be like, I need some Starbucks. And then that scent of the cane sauce and those chicken fingers will lure you over to the other side, literally the other side of the restaurant.
So it looks like Raising
in these places anymore. We're talking drive-through here.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you'll smell it through the drive-through window.
Reno, Nevada is the closest Raising Cane's to me.
What?
It looks like, yes.
Damn. Yeah, I like my plan to just turn California into a giant Raising Cane's.
I like it.
It's not like
man.
Nothing else will be missed. You're not going to miss Wells Fargo. Wouldn't you rather have Raising Cane's where every Wells Fargo is?
No, they have one in Bakersfield, Blake. They have one in Bakersfield.
That's not closer to me. That's further away, and they're all over Southern California. It looks like they're all over Long Beach.
Oh,
And
see, it's already working.
Wow,
My plan
yeah.
is clearly
LA.
we've been doing it already.
There's not a single one in Sacramento, San Francisco, Stock. Yeah, there's nothing.
Not until you get to SoCal.
Yeah, or Reno. Yeah, Blake's right. Yeah, Reno's the closest one.
Well, trust me, a lot of your local businesses are going to go under. I guarantee you're going to get a Dunkin' Donuts and a Raising Cane's out of this.
Hey, we got Dunkin' Donuts out.
We have Dunkin' Donuts now. Yeah, it took 10 years.
We're civilized.
No, I'm just saying, like Dunkin'. Every time a building goes up in Canton, Ohio, it's a Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh my God.
That's because America's funkin' on that Dunkin'.
But I did see over on Lincoln Way, David. They knocked down a KFC.
Oh, really?
And then they built a KFC literally right next door to where the other KFC was.
Wendy's has done that a lot too.
Yeah.
You know, we have I had a KFC down the street from me, and it was horrible. And it shut down recently. I would love to see a Raising Cane's go in there.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Perfect place for a Raising Cane's. So just go to federalreserve.gov
and apply for Raising Cane's.
Yeah, email the Federal Reserve Chairman Powell about Raising Cane's, and he will get a Raising Cane's in your city with free infinite money.
Nice. We have the money. We can print more. We can make all the canes we need.
We don't need other businesses. We just need more Raising Cane's. So
That's
Denny's isn't going to make it. Raising Cane's will.
Yeah.
That's what we're deciding.
I just think it was like Denny's. They just boomer. You don't make it. You don't make it, man. It's not gonna make it. Denny's ain't gonna make it. They're done.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Denny's, but
I'll miss my Denny's. I use Denny's. Like if I've got insomnia and I want to like go write something when I'm not, well, obviously not during quarantine or whatever, but like
back in the long ago,
I finished up a lot of my Borderlands 3 coverage at a Denny's actually
before the Death Stranding.
Yeah, because I was having trouble sleeping at night. I still, I don't know. People don't care about my insomnia.
We should call it before and after the Death Stranding.
BDS.
Earlier, you were falling asleep during this podcast, dude. You got to sleep at some point.
Oh my God. I don't know what's wrong. I honestly don't.
You don't sleep.
I do sleep, but you know what I did yesterday when we had the day off is I got up had enough sleep, took a meeting with Burkleton that we had to take at like noonish, and then slept in my office chair for like most of the day, just like passed out. So I am, we don't need to get into my medical stuff on the podcast, but I am trying.
Well, now that we're in a pandemic, I actually am going to start taking your temperatures before the podcast. Rectally.
I don't know.
Rectally.
Okay.
So wait, if we have a high fever, do we get replaced with a Raising Cane's on this podcast?
Yes, that's actually the goal here, is to replace most of you with a Raising Cane's by the end of the podcast.
Oh man,
like it's only if you have the COVID,
right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're okay.
Yeah, we can
so
talk
far,
about...
David has coughed once on this podcast. Blake has coughed like 4 or 5 times. Greg, you seem to be.
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I can tell you why.
My social distancing.
I can tell you why I coughed after the podcast. I don't want to talk about it on.
That's fair. But yeah, next time rectal thermometers all around.
All right.
Rectal thermometers all around. Mazel tovs and kudos.
Well, is that about?
Yeah, that should be it.
Yeah.
The Shack battle's about to start, actually.
Oh shit!
So I have to jump into that and play very poorly.
Man, do I have time to buy the game and get in on this?
It's not that big. It's like 7 gigs or something. You got
Okay.
fancy Northern California internet. Pew pew. My potato internet was able to download it.
I'm gonna have to start that video review. Like I did the VO today. I have to start it today. It's gonna take me 3 days to edit that fucking thing together.
Oh man. Yeah, this is just gonna be your longest video review ever, right?
David, did I tell you how many pages mine is?
No.
7.
Oh,
Wow.
7 pages of Greg's writing. Oh boy.
I have a copy editor. My wife is going to look it over, so that's good.
Your wife is a saint. God bless her.
But whoever pissed off Asif last has to look at it. So
I'm gonna read it because I am much like David's review of RE3. I'm very interested in this review too. So I'll definitely read it.
It's also a JRPG. Like, good lord, like trying to like shorten it is very difficult.
I'm the reviews editor, so I mean, I'm probably gonna have to read this thing.
No, you don't speak Greg. Asif speaks Greg. It's okay.
I am really good at understanding what the hell Greg's trying to say, and I think I've gotten it through your head that run-on sentences are the devil. That you can sometimes just put a period at the end.
No, I deal in extremes. So like I don't use any commas or periods, and I use a lot of commas and periods, and then I have to scale back.
I'm like, who did not teach him what a run-on sentence was?
Good efforts though, right?
I still have that.
What do the papers say? Good effort.
It's like good effort despite it is like A+ despite a few errors. I'm like, how does how do you get an A+ despite a few errors?
So it's not my fault.
I will talk about this till the day I die. You wrote a paper about a person who doesn't exist, and you call him James Stevens on one page and James Stevenson's on the other page, and you got an A+ on this.
So it's not my fault. I was
trained. So whenever I have to edit something, I just curse all the people that ever educated Greg on how to write. It's not his fault. Oh my God! Look at that! Look at all that Raising Cane's.
Guys, I got bad news. I've been replaced by Raising Cane's.
That's good.
Oh. That's bad news for you.
No, it's great.
I'm pretty hungry for.
Yeah, Blake has been.
It's bad for my health.
Raising Cane's due to COVID-19 concerns. So.
For all your Raising Cane's news, go to Shacknews.com.
It's gonna be bad for my health, so much for my diet.
But you know what? We appreciate your sacrifice.
We appreciate your sacrifice.
Northern California now has a Raising Cane's where you used to live.
I did it for Shacknews.
You didn't need a place. See? Look at the economy working. It's working. Who needs jobs when we have Raising Cane's? We'll just put a Raising Cane's there. Done. This is
like putting a bird on it.
This really did. I'd save the economy. So yeah, that's the show. Go to shacknews.com for interviews, reviews, news, previews. Check out Greg's review of Final Fantasy VII, which will be live by the time this podcast goes live. I'm going to try to edit this one in rapid pace, faster than last week's episode, which still isn't live at the time of this recording. But I am uploading it to YouTube as we speak with my potato internet.
Oh,
41%. So sometime Friday, it'll go live.
You should, if you do go to the office to like grab something, turn a computer on there so you can remote into it.
And then what?
The
internet's still going to be bad.
It's the internet. I don't know. I guess I could work on. I could log into the computer, work on Adobe Premiere remotely, and then upload from the office.
Yeah, that's it.
Does that make sense, Greg? Would that work?
You're gonna like you can't play games and work on it remotely. Like that won't work. You're gonna have
no.
I'm not.
The scenario you described will work.
I'm just talking about like logging in using Premiere, exporting remotely on a computer, and uploading it from the office would be a faster use of my workflow than that.
Oh yeah, you can totally do that. I used to use it sometimes. There's like I think it's called like remote workspace or something that you just log into it, and the only issue is sometimes if your internet is slower than it is at the location, you're gonna have like delays. But like just don't. You can't. I mean, you can't game on it, but you could edit on it if you don't mind hitting spacebar, counting to like 1.2 seconds, and then having it move.
Yeah. So Asif, just start the export and then log out of the remote computer and let the remote computer work on its own, and you'll be using the Office's connection. I've done this. It is great. Do it.
Okay.
All
So
right.
I have to go back to the office.
You can't. It's not essential.
I'm essential. There's no cops. They're stretched so thin. They're not gonna. They're like, who's gonna stop me?
I don't know. You are brown. They may stop you.
This is true.
Oh my God! There's a not white guy out there. Get him!
Wait, you're in a Tesla and it's tinted though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like there goes it's a Tesla. Obviously, it's an affluent Caucasian male.
That's how I trick them.
Yeah, there you go.
What does South Park say? We almost said an instant white man.
I was in the middle of our thing, so yeah. There's long reads, guides, all sorts of things on Shacknews.com. You can subscribe to Shacknews Mercury for as little as $1 a month, all the way up to $1,000 a year. If you want to go ludicrous with it. Thank you to all of our subs. I'm not sending out packages right now because I don't want them to be riddled with the COVID-19. So Shacknews Mercury has been postponed due to COVID-19 concerns. I think Combo Breaker was canceled. Get on My Level was canceled. Bunch of events.
Everything's been canceled.
Everything's
2020 is canceled.
But I'm replacing it with the Raising Cane, so that's the good news.
That is good news.
So,
all hail the new cane overlords.
Yeah, seriously. Raising Canes will lead us into the next great bull market. I wish there was a stock for Raising Canes. I would buy it.
Especially now. Yeah.
Right? Because it'd be down. I made a pretty penny on Wendy's, and I dumped it, by the way. I got out of Wendy's. Got out of my bank stock. So it was like, the market went up too much too fast. I was like, why the hell am I up so much on Wendy's? I'm out. Yeah. So I paid for years of eating at Wendy's. So yes. I'm good there. We're on Twitch. Shacknews on Twitch. At Shacknews on Twitter. Shacknews Media on Instagram. If you're on Facebook, I don't know why, but I know Blake reads it. He talked to me about it the other day.
I'm popular on Facebook. Leave me alone.
Did you see the president gloating about being number one on Facebook?
I never talked to him on Facebook. We're not friends. All I know is you remember that really solid jab I made on Twitter about how I know everyone can stay home because I've seen them do it whenever I have a show.
Except you haven't. But yes.
Yeah.
That was a solid tweet.
That was a solid tweet. You know where it got more traction? On Facebook. I got a shit ton of laugh replies.
But you know who liked comments. It on Twitter?
You did, and Mark Rebier.
Exactly.
Mark Rebier liked it.
So really, who really matters more? Me and Mark Rebier, or all those jaboofers on your Facebook?
All my closest friends.
All of those jaboofers on Facebook. They're on the fudge panel arguing about meme quality.
Yeah, okay. All my friends mean nothing. All my family. Compared to you and Mark Rebier.
Correct.
I understand.
Especially, I didn't say that. You see, this is the conflation of Facebook. That somehow your presence on Facebook is you. That's not what I'm saying. Those people have value. Their Facebook profiles, they don't have value.
I'm just saying, Facebook. My Facebook community validates me a lot more usually than my Twitter community does.
That's
Twitter community, if you're listening.
That's a function of
what?
You.
My Twitter community being jerks?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's your followers are jerks.
My followers
and you need to start telling them more often.
Oh.
You really do need
to start. My followers are jerks. My followers are jerks.
There you go.
Get up off your fucking ass and retweet all my shit. Retweet all my jokes.
Who's got time for that?
Retweet all my links. Like them and follow them and subscribe to them. Retweet all my links. That was my little pirate shanty. That wasn't the end theme.
Oh man. I don't know. My Twitter is definitely more active than my Facebook.
Yeah.
But boy, all those friends of yours from high school and beyond that really care about you on Facebook because the platform recommended you become friends again 20 years after the fact when you weren't really friends to begin with.
There are a few people from my high school that that are on there that, like, some of them are actually still friends. Like, we were friends and we've stayed friends.
You know where I don't want people to interact with me on social media? LinkedIn. Hey, people, I don't want your LinkedIn DMs ever about anything. Ever. So stop. Please stop trying to sell me horrible display ads for Shacknews.com. Do not DM me at 2 a.m. on a Sunday. Please stop. That's the worst. I was just like, I looked at my notifications. I'm like, why? Why, God? Why have you forsaken me? I don't want to run your programmatic ads. So yeah, Shacknews doesn't run programmatic ads, but we do have an ad featuring my dog on the website if you go there.
That's all that matters.
You can also subscribe to us on Twitch with Amazon Prime. You can do that once a month for free. And most people have Amazon Prime because we can't go outside. Right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the few retailers left in the world. YouTube.com/ShackNewsGames, YouTube.com/GamerHubVideos. We're going to have some video content coming up around Final Fantasy. David and Greg worked together on the Resident Evil 3 video review, which is up. There's a ton of guide content for RE. It's going to hit the site this weekend. But technically, when is the embargo for this, Greg?
Monday at like 4 a.m. or something, some weird time.
So this podcast will go up Monday morning.
Okay.
I'm going to try to get the RE1 up tomorrow. So that'd be Friday. So bam, you're gonna have they're gonna have too much Shackcast content again.
That's good. This is the best time for them to have too much content.
Yeah, so we're gonna give them too much of that. I heard rumblings that we might do a 9 to 5 Elon podcast tomorrow.
Oh my.
Yeah, so that would be the first one in a while because Tony and Adam have been taking care of their families in quarantine. And I've been doing other stuff like recording this podcast. So I think that's it, right? Did I hit all the things? Make sure to check out.
Click the links and read and share.
That's right. If you're on the internet, which you probably are because you're listening to us through a series of tubes, say you're on, I don't know, whatever website Greg's reading right now, IGN.com. And you see a...
All right, wait, hold on. While you're doing this, I was really hoping we were going to get to the theme song. I've got to run to the restroom. I'll be right back. I'll be back before your soapbox is done.
Okay. Apparently, Blake's going to go take a dump.
What other gaming website is there?
I mean, if you're on IGN, which you probably
are, it is.
And like you see an interview with Gabe and there's like a headline and you're like, "Oh, I'm going to share this headline." Before you share the headline on social media, actually click the link, watch the interview with Gabe, ask yourself, did they tie him down to the chair to get the interview, or how was his family? Like, where was Gabe's family during the filming of the interview?
It's very suspicious.
There's a lot of questions that I have about how they got Gabe Newell to talk to them about Half-Life. Just actually consume the content. It helps the people who create the content. And Lord knows IGN needs your help. So watch their content. Share their content. Like their content. It helps the creator of the content because they're very analytically driven over there. So if they don't get the Valve clicks that they expect, they're going to fire their asses over there. Because it's a recession, right? And they're a giant conglomerate. So click the link. It's IGN really, really needs your help in these trying times.
Let me tell you, if anyone needs help.
So that's it. That's the whole show. This was you can go to our local podcast facilities to hear this, or you can watch us on YouTube. I recommend watching us on YouTube because there's just visual gags, and you get to see Greg's home office, which has a bunch of cool things in it. You get to see chicken fingers.
Delicious cane sauce.
So that's it. Go out there and do it for Shacknews.
Well, I used to be a loser. I used to be lame. All my life sucks. It was a game. But then it turned around because I became the latest stop for Raising Cane's. Raising Cane's, it tastes so good. Raising Cane's, the sauce is really yummy. Raising Cane's, give me some food. I hope you enjoyed today's Shackcast, dudes.
Brought to you by Raising Cane's.
Really not brought to you by Raising Cane's, but
Nope.
we just think that everything's going to be a Raising Cane's soon.
I mean, this podcast just became a Raising Cane's.
This podcast is not insolvent yet, so it has not been turned into a Raising Cane's. But when it does go bankrupt, it'll be a Raising Cane's. It'll be called the Cane's Cast. It'll be the official Cane's cast of Cane's News. When Shacknews pivots to be a news site just about Raising Cane's.
The Cane Shack. Oh, man. There was an April Fool's this year. That would have been great.
You're welcome, Shacknews. I did not torture you with an April Fool's joke this year. In fact, I gave everyone a day off instead. Screw you, COVID-19.
That's right.
Seriously, at this point, screw you, COVID-19. And everyone stay safe out there if you're listening to us wherever you are. Every city is really dangerous in the world right now, so just stay inside.
If you go to Cane's, get a drive-through.
Yeah, practice social distancing at Raising Cane's. And then whenever those businesses around you do shut down because we're all holed up in our homes, just have no fear. They're going to turn into Raising Cane's.
I can't eat. I'm trying to.
That's not how Chroma Key works.
I know.
You're doing it wrong.
Okay, I'm going to stop recording.